Hey Sonia, can you send us the actual files of the what you do so we can put it on the words? We just want to put them up on. We need the actual files. Huh? That's why I moved it. Yeah.
I just startled you? Morning.
Morning. I swear.
Listen as former City Treasurer Kurt Summer. Listen as Summers breaks down who qualifies. qualifies for what and what you need to do to take advantage of this bailout. It's the program that every business owner, every taxpayer, and anyone who's been impacted by the coronavirus should listen to on Wednesday, April 1st from 1 to 3 p.m. Hear our history-making conversation on the COVID-19 stimulus package with former City Treasurer Kurt Summers and you. Spread the word. It's why America is listening to WVON. Hey Alexa, play WVON 1690 AM.
Getting WVON 1690 AM station from iHeartRadio.
Try it out for yourself. America is listening to WVON. This traffic report is brought to you by Allstate. If you haven't quoted Allstate lately, it's the perfect time. Now Allstate has new lower auto rates. You get the same high-quality coverage and hands-on expertise, now at new lower rates. Call a local Allstate agent and get a quote now.
WVON, traffic and weather, now.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, March 31st. Over on the Dan Ryan to Tuskegee Airman Memorial, Bishop Ford and the Stevenson traffic is flowing freely in both directions. If you're traveling the Eisenhower, you're looking at a 28-minute ride in both directions. The Kennedy, 20 minutes both ways, and Lakeshore Drive, no problems right now. It's 35 degrees. Tonight, dropping down to 32. That's a look at our traffic and weather. I'm Jennifer Thompson on 1690 AM WVON.
The views expressed on our programs are not necessarily those of WVON, Midway Broadcasting Corporation, or our participating sponsors.
Did you know you can fill out your census survey online? It's simple. Visit my2020census.gov. Let them know you count.
Live from the Xfinity Studios at WVON. You're listening to The Morning Show with Maze Jackson on the Talk of Chicago, 1690 WVON. Rise and shine. Wake up. Wake up.
What? Oh, mic check.
Wake
Oh,
up.
mic check. Mic check. Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. I thought you were talking to Mike. You ready? 1, 2, 1, 2.
The WVON Morning Show. Call 773-59.
No more sleeping in bed. No more back thinking. Time for thinking ahead.
Wake up, Chicago! Wake up, world! This is the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Social distancing from my guy, Todd Stroger. Todd, how you feeling this morning?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. What do we add, about a foot and a half?
You know what? Actually, it's officially over 6 feet. After yesterday's lecture, I have decided that if you guys want to see me anymore, I'm going to have to take extra precautions. So, it is the WVON Morning Show long distance. You know, Todd, this coronavirus is impacting everything, including my camera angles. All right, do I hear is it an echo? Is it me? I feel like, what?
It's me.
It's the glass? Is that what it is? Okay. All right, well, look, it's the WVON Morning Show. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. But, hey, let's do this. Let's say what's up to the rest of the WVON Morning Show team. What's up to Miss Jennifer Thompson in the newsroom? Jennifer, how you feeling this morning? There it is. It is the end of March, and we are getting ready to go into April. April ain't no fools in April. Shoot. Well, unless you tune into the TV, but that's a whole nother story. Hey, all right, let me say what's up to Miss Sonia Escobar. She is the musical conductor of the Soul Plane. Sonia, how you feeling this morning? All right, yes, you can. You know, I'm a little antsy. I missed the day, so I'm like, hey, you know what? All right, yeah, I'm a little antsy because I missed the day. But okay, let's get it. What's up, Sonia? I'm sorry. Thank you. Sonia, I'm a little upset with you, though. I'm a little upset with you. Cause, man, you know, did somebody call it booty butt radio? Did I hear that yesterday? I was like, Sonia, I was like, the music is supposed to stop right there, but it's all good. You know what? And I was like, what? I was like, nah, see? But it's all good, because you know what? I missed the day yesterday, but I'm back in the saddle. So let's do this. Let's get this thing up to 60,000 feet. This is the WVON Morning Show. We are up and away. All right, Todd, let's start this. Can I tell you what? Yesterday I had to, I got in my car yesterday to pick up some cash that was owed me. You know, when in these times when things are funny, that money that's out there. No, but that money that you know, ordinarily you'd be like, well, I get it later. I was like, you got my cash? No, because you know, if you don't get your cash when you need to get it, you know, sometimes then they be tell you they spent it, or you know, something bad happened. So I went to go get my cash. And when I went to go get my cash, Todd, I drove past at least 3 parks. And guess who was in the park?
Pale people?
White people. Good Lord, have they not seen the memes? Did they not get the memo? Look, Todd, and I'm telling you, that's why I said these things are crazy. Remember how I told you about shooting one off at a basketball hoop, and I felt like I might be good to do that?
Right.
Well, there was I was up north, and there were 5 hoops, and there were 5 white guys, 1 in each hoop. Then I saw a tennis court right next to it. Who's up there playing? White folks and their parents. It was clearly social distance.
Right.
But I thought the parks was closed. Then I drove through my park, Union Park.
Yeah.
And guess what? White folks in the park, shooting hoops, playing tennis.
Yeah, you know they don't really pay attention to to those type of orders.
Meanwhile, brothers are getting locked up on the west and south. You know what? I'm going to stop. Okay. So all I need to say is, but I'm going to tell you what. Your mayor, I got to tell you, shout out to Mayor Lori Lightfoot for the social media win. Did you see that video? Did you see her social media video where she was baking? She was playing the guitar. She was dunking on that. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what. You very rarely hear. So I'm going to tell you that Mayor Lori Lightfoot is doing, and I'm not gonna say, she is doing with social media what so many elected officials should be doing. She is using it as a tool of engagement. Todd, I promise you, 10 years ago, I could show you the paperwork when Facebook first came out, and I was telling elected officials, I got proposals for all of the Black Caucus where I said, man, if you all use this platform, you could do commercials, you could do everything. You could skip the whole media, so when somebody tells a story, you could tell it yourself. Guess what? They all told me.
What?
Yeah, that's never going to work.
No, I believe it because I think I told you once I had a meeting with the Southside Commitment, and I was like, we can help make your office more efficient through technology, and I got a guy to do it, and he'll come to your office. I'm paying him. Not one person called and asked for him to come through.
Well, that's because you didn't pay for it like Madigan, right? Meanwhile, they pay white folks to come get the information. White folks come set up the computers, put bugs all in your stuff. Then you put all your information in, and then as soon as the election is over, guess what they do?
They take it.
They take it all, lock you out, and now you gave them all your information. We can't even have. You know what? I'm gonna stop because I'm working on a whole bunch of stuff. We talking about these innovations that our people are coming up with. I want to talk about that at 8:30. Some of the innovations that have come about because of the coronavirus. But I'm going to tell you, man, this social media, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, kudos, you all kudos. Whoever's running her social media team, kudos, because that was great. Meanwhile, did you see how they cut out the press conference yesterday on TV? And then so it was the governor spoke, then the mayor came up, and then all of a sudden it went out. Then it came back and Dr. Ngozi was on. I'm telling you, Todd. We're gonna talk about this too.
What are you trying to say? There was somebody in the middle, and they're like, "No, we don't want that guy."
And that guy, I was talking about the mayor.
Oh, you mean they cut out while the mayor was?
Yeah, the mayor was gone, and then when they came back, they had technical difficulties while the mayor was speaking. And then when they came back, it was Dr. Ezike.
Oh, you know the mayor's not sitting around waiting for things to get better.
Oh, well, no, I'm saying that somebody cut her off the camera.
Oh, on purpose.
I think we're gonna talk about this too a little bit. I'm gonna be a little bit messy, but I want to talk about who do you think has been the better leader during this crisis. We're gonna talk about a whole bunch of stuff today. Plus, CPS is moving to e-learning. Todd, do you got a degree in e-learning?
No.
E-teaching? Because I'm going to tell you, man, this is getting a little nerve-wracking. All right, we're going to talk about it all when we come back. It's the Talk Chicago, 1690 AM. We'll be back. All right, y'all, we're going to do a new feature, too. So, I want to do a feature called Who You Got. Okay? Now, in the feature Who You Got, you can pick two people of any category and compare them, and we're going to say who is the better person. Right? So today, before we close the show, I need a Who You Got for Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Who you got? All right? So, like, you could put up two rappers. You could put up two bands. So, like, I was thinking, like, what would get the singers going would be, like, if you put Dinah Washington versus Ella Fitzgerald or something, right? Then you do something like Boyz II Men versus versus Jodeci, right? But you can do Guy. I mean, you can pick whoever. If yours wins, then you go.
I wasn't that. Like I told you, I know two Jodeci songs after.
Oh, you missed out. Jodeci is truly Guy. Jodeci will kill Guy in that because Jodeci don't got the deeper catalog. All right. But you could also, so that's music, but you could say Muhammad Ali versus Tyson. Shoot, you could say Riddick.
No, you can't.
Okay.
Go ahead.
But we could go down to best hairstylist in Chicago. Like if you knew, so like say Chris Kurse versus Midget, right? And we can set up the battle, like it's almost like Battle of the Bands, but it's not just bands. It's anything that's comparative. Does that make sense? I think that could be fun. Like every Wednesday from 8 to 8:20 and somebody gets on, you can make up your own comparison, right? And we could put up the battle, or I could put up the battle, and then like you could be like their best fights, their best whatever, and then we're gonna take calls.
I think that's cool.
Right? And then it could be against, so you could put who is the best county board president, Todd Stroger versus Tony Preckwinkle. Right? You could.
My ego will not withstand losing a battle, so I think that's a good idea.
I wouldn't do it. We could do who's the best radio show host, right?
Yeah,
so
that's a different ego thing.
But I'm saying. So what I'm just saying is, guys, I want to have some fun, if you don't mind, during this time. So we need to think of comparisons, because who are we going to do tomorrow? Now, Todd, I'm trying to make you bigger.
I've been trying that for years. The doctor was wrong. That girl's first night.
Do you want to come back where the technical difficulties happened and it was just the mayor Lightfoot starting over and over and over? I said, did you want to come back with the mayor Lightfoot from where the technical difficulties came into place, where she started saying, where she just started looping, it was repeating.
Go ahead, yeah.
Okay.
You don't love me, yes I know.
Times together, and someday soon, through to the other side. Thank you, and now I'd like to turn it over to a terrific partner, the mayor of the city of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot.
Thank you, Governor.
Thank you.
Those are really
Well, you think your days have been a repeating feature.
No. I'll do anything you say, girl. For the people. Anything you say. You are tuned into Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Sonia, it's hard for me to cue you virtually because it's like you're behind me. That's what I said. It's like, I'm like... You're giving me your back? You know what, y'all? This is Talk Chicago 1690 AM. Hey, in case you are watching on Facebook Live, you may notice the set is different because we are taking into full consideration social distancing. So Todd, you will now be seeing Todd with a slight background. You'll be able to get a much better view of his fresh haircut. I think I'm going to start another contest, Todd.
What's that?
We're going to tell people to count the hairs on your head from the... I'm going to stop.
That's right.
Meanwhile, I am missing my barber.
Just keep living.
I'm missing my barber, Todd. Todd, it's like I'm trying to decide how I'm going to do this. I'm scared. So, can I tell you what I was doing?
Clippers at home.
You know what? I have clippers, and I think I have liners at home, too. But let me tell you, one of the things that was... I was calling myself, Todd, letting my hairline grow in. I'm not going to... Okay, so...
You're right, though.
Yeah, like my old, like, hairline. Yeah. You know, like, I think sometimes my barber, you know, he blames on me looking at my phone. I blame it on, you know, like, I don't know if you saw that episode. Like, my son is like, Dad, I'm not going to go here. Anyway, the whole point of the matter is I was letting my line grow back to its original crooked state.
Right. Natural.
Yes, and so I didn't go get a haircut for 2 weeks. Before, usually, you know, I get a haircut every Saturday or Sunday morning. One of the two. Sunday morning, he opens up, and I'll go get my haircut right after Joel Osteen or whatever. And I just didn't go get my haircut. And now, Todd, I am now where I would normally be at 1 week's growth. I'm now at 3 weeks growth. And it's really starting to show up when I wake up in the morning. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, I'm trying to brush it down. I almost feel like I'm going to have to start getting a wave cap or something.
You get a wave.
I'll give me some waves. I'm going to make you seasick without my line, though. All right, y'all. It's Talk Chicago 1690 AM. Todd, let me run through some of the headlines. Did you see McCormick? So, white people, I want to see just once the white folks be in handcuffs for being in the park. I would love to see just once. What do you mean I'm not supposed to be in the park?
You know, we went through the park.
This is America!
Well, no, we didn't go to the park. We drove up to Evanston Sunday.
And did you let the windows down?
Nah.
Okay, well, I drove with the windows down.
Yeah, I think it was high outside.
I'm going to tell you what. I had to go to the store. So let me just tell you.
You get out of the house. That was just to get out.
Do you know what? Remember when your parents used to be like, let's go for a ride? Exactly. Remember when you was poor? Or not even poor, because I don't even think it was poor. Well, it probably was poor, because your parents did, because you could go for a ride.
They didn't want to spend money.
They didn't want to spend no money. So on a Saturday night, on a Sunday night, or a hot evening, they're like, let's go for a ride. You'd be all excited, everybody get in the car, and you just go for a ride.
That's exactly what happened.
You know what? We gonna ride. I took my son on a ride one time to Oak Brook, right? And we got lost. Actually, I think we were at Reagan's swim meet. And we were at the park district up there. And on the way there, you got to go through these houses. And my son was like, wait, these are real houses? Like more than one family? I mean, one family lives here? I was thinking like, one day, son, one day.
Wait a minute, but my story was only because as we were going through Grant Park and what's the other one, Millennium and Daly.
White folks.
All over.
I'm sorry.
Because Claire was pointing them out.
Look, see, this is when, like, this is...
Isn't the lakefront closed?
This is when you bring black... You know, like, when your kids have been a little bit away.
Uh-huh.
They've been hanging out with the white folks. And they be like, oh, that's what you mean when they think that. That's white privilege right there.
Oh, I forgot to tell you, on the way from 67th to... till we got to like 12th Street, there were police cars all through that park.
I'm telling you, the police like, You Negroes come outside. I got the You know that I just keep thinking of that police officer that was like, we kill moms. Okay. Okay. 200,000 predicted to die from this. It's like, man, bro. Okay, I'm scared. Got it? I'm scared. Thank you. I'm scared. Did you know? Apparently, Americans are all scared. Did you see? First of all, good, crazy fact, but scary fact too. Did you see yesterday? I was watching Channel 7, and they were talking about this company, Descartes, right? Descartes Data. You know what they do?
No.
They track your travel by your phone.
Oh, yes.
So they were saying that prior to the shutdown, the average average Cook County driver traveled approximately 4.3 miles a day, right? 4.3 miles a day. Yes. Now, Todd, it's down to 0.3 miles per day.
Wow.
So there's like they showed a map. We're 100% paying attention. Here's the thing that I was just thinking though. Just think about how they could track how many phones are moving around.
Uh-huh.
That means they could track when you're outside. Now we knew that, but think about there's a company that's now collecting that data. So again, now when they enforce it, they're going to be like phone number 312 blah 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 has moved from his space. Find him now. Find him.
Well,
you have left your zone.
They have that capacity right now. They could have always done that.
But now, Todd, it is now reality. I am telling you, find, search, and destroy the black people who are outside. Yes, Master, I will. I am telling you, this is becoming a movie like we've never seen, or like we've seen on numerous occasions. It's a reality.
Any other state?
Man, I'm just telling you. Did you see? Oh, they say we're out of Tylenol. They got to stop spooking me with these. We're out of stuff. Well, don't use ibuprofen because they're saying ibuprofen has been bad. I think it has been, but Tylenol. I feel like the Tylenol machine, they could just turn that on.
Just in general, or it's bad if you have?
I think it's bad for if you have the virus. But I'm saying though, Todd, now that makes me feel like
the Tylenol thing.
Huh?
If you wanted to share the Tylenol information, you're asking about the ibuprofen, if it's bad or not.
Right.
Well, in the post-mortem results, a high percentage of the people that died without hospital care had ibuprofen in their system. So that's the connection that they're making.
Mm.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a real. That just means like, I'm in pain, give me some ibuprofen.
No, I think there's something that they're saying that reacts with your body that when they treat you. But I
think they're saying we don't really know, but don't do it anyway.
Well, I think we should figure it out before we keep it up. Before we have I was like that, like warning. We are now being taken over. We have now been invaded by the Todds. The Todds are now taking over the morning show. All right. How about ABC is moving the dance? ABC, ESPN is moving the dance. The 10-week episodes of the Jordan era movie that everybody's been waiting for since June is now moving up to April 19th. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm not shocked. Everybody's at home. Now's the time.
Right. Let me do in my best impression of our friend. Wow. The dance, it's moving up. I'm so excited. Oh my goodness, what will we do now? I'm so excited. Hey man, have you checked on your people? When we come back, I'm gonna do like my mom, like I used to happen to me when I was a kid in church. You know how the pastor would be doing the sermon? The preacher would. My old man would be doing the sermon and he'd be using me as the example for the sermon.
You mean like a ward meeting?
Right, like I'm not sitting right there.
That's how my dad would do me.
All right, well I'm about to do my. I'm over here not paying attention. Look, I'm gonna do my mom like they did me back in the day. I'm gonna tell a story. It's Talk Chicago 1690. We'll be back.
Live from the WVON newsroom.
My dad would say things. One day he said something. I said, "That's not true."
Boy, don't mess up my good story.
The truth?
Right. Don't be messing up my good story. I need to use you as an example. And people enjoy that better. All right, y'all. Y'all take a moment, share the broadcast. He could have he could have just typed that up and gave it to me, and we could have came back to it. I didn't want to give a minute and a half up to that.
I don't think he wanted to. He didn't want it to get away.
He didn't want it to get away. Tight. Okay, so how informed do you feel after yesterday's show? I'm gonna stop. I'm not going to. I got commentary.
I didn't wake up that early. I don't wake up that early if I get.
I can't help
out of
it.
bed.
I can't help it, and it's like well, first of all, we got shaded yesterday. First of all, I can't believe we got called Booty Butt Radio. Really? I was like, are you serious?
They were talking about their show, though, right?
No. The intro to the set was, you are tuned in to the morning show. This is not Booty Butt Radio. This is not Wake Up, Wake Up, Wake Up. This is Boss Radio. And I was like, huh?
Well, that is kind of a show.
Right. No, I mean, it was like, so you gonna sit in my chair, and now I said though, all shade would be returned times 200.
Who was the host?
What is known need not be said.
I knew you were gonna say something like that.
And okay, so I'm gonna say I was super excited about the Dorothy. Okay, so I need to say that Kurt Summers is doing what I feel like needs to be happening right now with this corona. Jesus, did you listen to him on Dorothy Tillman's show? I mean, it was like he answered what's in it for the black people he just said this is what we could do. And it's really what I was talking about. Like, where I feel like somebody needs to break this thing apart and say, black people, here's where you enter. Here's how you use this. Right? And it's like,
well, he's coming back on.
Yeah, I'm gonna, but it feels like that shouldn't be coming from the past. That should be coming from the present.
Oh, you mean somebody who's
yes.
No, you know what I think? I think that's the problem with us black folks is that we want our elected officials to do everything.
Okay, but if you can't be posting step shows and not, you can't do it.
Well, I think we want our black elected officials to be everything to us, and it doesn't make any sense.
But they don't do anything. We got to figure out what. Let me not say they don't do anything. I'm gonna move from that. Go ahead.
There ought to be, like people always say, find your lane. Yes, there are different things, and once we try to make our elected officials everything, it negates people who are trying to do things. So all of a sudden, instead of us having all these different groups trying to push for the same way, we're all trying to get these 5 people to do everything.
Okay.
I don't think it makes sense.
I was thinking though that, so then to me, then somebody black should say, okay, Kurt is going to be our point person, right? So if I'm the Black Caucus, Joint Black Caucus, we say, okay, we know this is going to impact our people, city, county, state, right? What we should do now is put a point person, lay it out, talk about how we do it at all levels. So give the state reps their talking points, the county their talking points, the city their talking points. Here's what we're going to do all together. We're going to pull it all. Kurt, you're running point on this. We're going to make sure you're on VON, blah, 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 communicating. We'll use our voices to drive people to you and your network of 10 or 12 people that have people coming in the doors saying, okay, let's do an assessment. Let me tell you where I think you need to apply. Go sit over with these 10 delegate agencies that we've got around the city, county, or state that will help businesses set up. So now you partner with the treasurer's office, and the treasurer says, use our satellite locations at these places because Kurt's got the program, etc.
I can go with that.
I want to thank you, God, for giving me one more chance to raise my voice and to sing your praise. Sing it out loud, and I'll sing it always. This song is my prayer, giving one to you. I know it could compare with a gift from you. You gave me a love. You gave me a son. Whoa. Don't believe. Hard to see. Just don't want they. Deals and more. Holy name. See, you don't have to beg or crawl. You see, you're sitting proud and tall. Vincent with laughs and laugh. I want to thank you, God, for giving me one more chance to raise my voice and to sing your praise. Say it out loud. Oh, I sing it all day. This song is my prayer. Only you. I know it can't compare with the gift from you. Oh, give me your love. You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Todd, you don't know about that Howard Hewitt, boy. Woo! That one right there, boy. You don't know nothing about that.
Yeah.
Todd, you don't know nothing about that. Y'all remember Howard Hewitt when he was with Shalimar?
Playground on the monkey bars.
At the playground, you know? Man, I'm telling you. You know what I remember this from?
What?
Tom Joyner. I used to remember it. Tom Joyner played this, like when you would come home when he was on the afternoons. 3:30 he would play this. This was on during that same time, man. And they'd be like, man, Tom Joyner play a song. You'd be like, I don't even know I like Christian gospel music. And he made this song popular like straight up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Huh.
Good stuff.
Howard Hewitt played at the South Central Community Center.
Let me tell you what. Howard Hewitt is Kenny. You know Kenny B? The cameraman? That's his man. That's his man. Todd, it seems like we got a guest coming in the studio.
What?
What is that smell? Why do I smell Old Spice and Brute? Well, brother Maze Jackson and brother Todd, it is good to be back in the presence of you, the listeners, right here at the WVON morning show. The Lord, you know, Todd, I tuned in yesterday. And I want to send a big thank you to Boss Radio yesterday, because, Todd, they brought up an interesting topic that I think needs to be pushed to the forefront of the black community. Now, Todd, I know you and that sinner Maze over there. That boy, somebody need to get that boy with a switch.
Man, he's not that much of a sinner. He said he listened to Joel Osteen the other day.
That Joel Osteen is the work of the devil. The work of the devil. Getting all them ties at big old church. Let me tell you, Todd. Now, Todd, why is it that Brother Jackson, when I come in, always seems to have to go to the bathroom? I noticed that. Don't think I didn't notice that. Ushers, you catch him on the way out. Now, Todd, as I was tuned into the show yesterday, I heard a conversation that made me think that it might be time to really address one of the most important issues of this coronavirus. Now, Todd, we have heard about the reparations plan for the regular person. Todd, we have heard about the recovery plan for the businesses. Now, Todd, are you paying attention? You know, no phones in the church, Todd. No phones in the church unless your Facebook. Now, listen here, brother. Now, Todd, it has come to my attention that there have been made provisions for everybody within this reparations coronavirus bill. Now, let me tell you, first of all, Todd, numbers have been low in the church lately. We try, my brothers down south try to keep church open. Now, Todd, they are arresting ministers for faith. And I'm saying, Todd, that right now, as we talk about this stimulus plan, and I want your WVON listeners to join me and answer I'm going to take this over from Brother Jackson, who, that brother always, he got stomach problems or something. Todd?
He's a little weak and feeble, sir. Don't worry, he'll be back.
All right. Well, not if I can help it. Well, Todd, I want to ask your listeners the social media question of the day. Yeah. All right. Should churches get federal recovery funds? Now, Todd, I'm just here to tell you, right here in the church, the numbers have been low. And we do the good work of the people. And it is so imperative that if we are going to continue this much needed work in our communities, Todd, we must. It is our duty to have the government give us some of those recovery funds. And so I want your listeners to call me at 312-374-8130. That's 312-374-8130. Now, I do want to give you my text number because I do take text ties by text. You can cash at me at Maze Jackson Said. But Todd, should churches be benefactors of the federal recovery funds? What say you, my brother, in the deacon's chair?
I would say no.
What? Todd! How dare you blaspheme? The good work of the church must go on. And if anybody is entitled to be stimulated, Todd, it is us of the church. Todd, help me understand your insane thinking.
Well, there is something to that, though, because some churches do have employees. So I guess if you could show that you had employees working, doing certain things, it would make sense for them to get some money, and as it's supposed to go to employees.
But Todd. Oh, you are weak. You don't understand how much it costs to operate a storefront. Do you understand? We must pay lights and gas. Todd, we must pay car notes, big car notes. It is imperative that we get a part of that stimulus. But I need the help from we got a building fund, Todd. What about the world? We got to keep the building fund. What are the essentials of the church that must operate during these times? Now, I'm going to tell you.
A lot of churches are what they call it, callings. So, I can drive down a poor neighborhood and there'll be 5 churches within 3 blocks.
Todd, because the Lord has called us all to follow Him. We just got different call notes. I take that back, Todd, because can I tell you, there are churches that are doing real good work. But Todd, how do you propose we divvy this money up? Is it by members of your church? How much work you have done?
I thought I said you don't get no money.
What? Todd, I know you can't be continuing with this insane thinking. How do we measure the worthiness of the churches? See, Todd, because I believe the work.
You can show you had a payroll like you were paying the technicians, to broadcast and all that kind of stuff. I guess you should get some money, but other than that, I can't see why.
Todd. Now, see, I bear it to differ with you, my brother. I believe that there are many of our churches that provide food, that have food pantries. I believe there are many of our churches that provide services that are essential to our community. So I want you to give us a call, 312-374-8130. That's 312-374-8130. Tell us, should our churches get some of that stimulus money? Todd, you talking crazy. I got a car to pay for. It's the Talk of Chicago. Todd is terrible. He's the worst. I can't believe you, Todd.
Hey, church. There's a division between church and state.
Todd go to Catholic church. They got all them property they stole from the people they slaved. They got all their missionary money still. Oh my God.
Well, if you tell me a church that ain't had some problems, I tell you, you're lying.
Todd, you got the camera. Talk to the people. Move that mic from the front.
My mic sounds fine. Oh.
Check one.
Oh. Yeah. You know, there's supposed to be a division between church and state. I don't see how you do that. Start giving churches money to stay open. Unless they do have some business. I mean, you know, if a church has a workers and a payroll and they're doing certain things out in the streets, I guess you could say that would be some kind of business. I suspect some non-profits will be getting some kind of money.
And if they don't die from coronavirus,
but
they don't get the celebrity
to get a paycheck just to keep the doors of the church open, so people can come on Wednesdays and Sundays. Yeah, that's
We'd have been like, damn,
another one bites to be spent. I could be wrong, of course. Maybe it will go that way. I don't know.
That's Brother Frank.
I think food pantries only happen once a month, so hey, it's not like it's an ongoing process. And everybody doesn't do food pantries. The majority of the churches are probably very small, and I don't see them get anything other than what everybody else gets in a regular old person paycheck. Or it's not even stimulus, because it's not really there to stimulate the economy. It's there really just for your necessities.
This traffic report is brought to you by La Quinta by Wyndham. Celebrate a victory away from home with La Quinta. Wake up winning with bright.
Now that Mays is a minister, oh no, he hasn't filed a tax report yet, so I don't think they can send him one.
Tonight, La Quinta.
Not as a business.
You try out. Book direct at lq.com. WVON traffic and weather now.
No problems right now, but Dan Ryan to speak here in the Memorial District. You're traveling the Eisenhower expected 28-minute.
Man, we had a very low key weekend. And like Mays, I'm like, all right. I've been running around, going to the grocery store. I don't want to go out anymore. Let me stay inside. I'll bring some food to any of my relatives who need it. Other than that, I don't want to go to the grocery store. My freezer should make it there Thursday.
Oh, you got a freezer?
It's a small one. It's not like a big piece.
I need just a small one too, like a 3x3 or something. What? How many?
Yeah, it's like like a one of the. It's my man. They got nothing to eat.
Who am I to be blind, pretending not to see their needs? A sort of different guy, a broken bottle top, and a one-man soul. We follow each other on the when you know, 'cause I got nowhere to go. That's why I want you to know I'm starting with the man in the mirror. Well, change your ways. Todd. How dare you, Todd? This is Minister Mays sitting in on the WVON morning show. That brother Mays Jackson, you know what? He needs a colonic. Because it seems like every time he come around, he find himself in the bathroom. But Todd, we are asking the social media question of the day. Minister Mays sitting in. And I need y'all to answer the question. Todd, can I get a amen? You.
What's the question first?
Todd, I'm the pastor. You don't ask the question. You just say amen. When I say can I get amen, you just say amen. When I say wow, you say wow. Wow. Okay, see, let me hear you practice. Say wow. All right, now let me do this again. Okay. The social media question of the day, Todd. You're supposed to say wow. Todd, you're messing up my timing, man. Oh. All right. The social media question of the day.
Wow.
Should churches get federal stimulus?
No.
Todd!
Hey, wow.
Todd! You know what, Todd? You know what? You are being demoted from the deacon board to the usher board. You are now. I hereby make you you second Sunday usher. You are on. No matter of fact, you third Sunday usher. Woo. Now, make sure you bring your white gloves. This is the Talk of Chicago, Brother Frank. Should the churches help me, brother? Cause this Todd is going crazy in the studio. Should the churches get federal stimulus, Brother Frank?
Yes, sir. Good morning, my brother Minister Mays and Todd Stroger. First of all, good morning. And my answer is yes, sir, because they are hurting as well from this. They got to survive too, okay? And for another reason, if you can give billions of dollars to these corporations who've been profiting billions of dollars over the years without even checking their books, each time they want to help out the churches, you got pastors opening up because they're hurting and dying weeks later. Okay, this will help cut down on that too. I believe they should get stimulus money as well, Mr. Mays. I really do.
You know what, Brother Frank? Hold on, Brother Frank. Hold on, Brother Frank. See? You see that? The Lord loves a cheerful giver, Todd. And you need to take a page out of Brother Frank's book. So, Brother Frank, you still there, Brother Frank?
I'm still here.
Brother Frank, I am now moving you to the head of the deacon board. Because Brother Todd is now a third Sunday usher. Brother Frank, thank you, my friend. Thank you, my brother. I see you at the meeting. At the deacon's meeting. Talk of Chicago, 1690. Brother Mays Jackson, he has had some issues with his stomach. So he has been there. But Todd, you disagree with the federal stimulus for the churches, but you must understand the good work that the church does in our community. Now, Todd, I think sometimes we here at the WVON morning show.
Is this speculation?
No, brother. Let me let what the Lord has laid on my heart. You see, Todd, sometimes here at the WVON morning show, sometimes, Todd, you're trying to get back on the deacon board. See, when you're usher, you just be quiet. Just be quiet. In the usher boy, hush. You better hush. Now, Todd, I think sometimes here at the WVON morning show, we have become so jaded in our views of the pastors. Because, Todd, maybe in your neighborhood, it's 5 churches on the block. But I believe, deep down in my heart, coming from the church, that the church does a lot of good work. And so, as they go out and reach out and minister, by the way, Todd, on social media, let me back up because I forgot I was supposed to tell on my mama. My mama said she was a little upset with her pastor, Todd.
Uh-oh.
You want to know why, Todd?
I do.
And I thought about this about so many of our seniors. Todd, she said her pastor had not called her to check on her. Now, Todd, my mother has to be one of the most faithful Christians I know. And I'm probably going to get a whooping when I get off this show. But let me tell you, she said, Maison. She said, Maison. You know, I go to this church. I go on Wednesday nights. I go to Sunday service. I teach Sunday school. And while I know I have a family, and you and your sister Tennille check on me, I had high expectations of my pastor. And I thought about how many of our seniors who go to church faithfully, sit in the front row, work on the mother's board. How many of them, Todd, have received a call from their pastor? Is that a lost art? I think that you could probably get, if your pastor has called all the seniors, how about this? You're eligible for stimulus if your pastor has called all the seniors, at least the ones that are tithe in the church. Is that too much to ask? Is that too much to ask?
Man, that's a tough one, Mace.
Reverend. This is minister. So, Todd, is that a way we could judge? You know what? To my seniors, has your pastor called you? You know, he loved your Mother's Day. He loved your Men's Day. But right here in the midst of this crisis, this is the time to take an assessment of your pastor. Because I've seen a lot of pastors on social media. But I wonder how many of them have checked on our seniors. The sick and shut in. You know all the people they put in the bulletin.
Right.
Well, Todd, that's a way to measure how much stimulus you should get. It's the Tower of Chicago. This boy coming out the bathroom. I'm out of here. I got to go. It's the Tower of Chicago. Minister Mays, I'll be back next week. We'll be back. You're a little late. You're on the usher board now, boy.
The station, 1690 AM, WVON. The website,
Within 5 minutes, Mace's phone is going to ring. And it's going to be Mom. And she's going to say, why are you putting my business on blast?
I'm going to be like, because I've been to church and you did it to me. All the time. I'll be like, I used to be, you know how many stories I've been? And that wasn't a blast. I think her pastor should be feeling like, ooh.
Oh, yeah. Well, if he's
her
not,
pastor should be feeling.
Pick up now in about 2 hours. He will be.
His
and
pastor.
Her mom is going to be getting a call today.
And she better be. Shoot.
Huh. That's worth a stimulus package.
I'm just saying, no, think about this. How many when she said that, I was going to say on Sunday morning, it was funny because Sunday morning I called my mom early because I was going to the grocery store. And she was preparing for her lessons. Her Sunday school lessons, she was going to do it on Zoom. And so when you catch it, like we just started talking, and I actually got a sermon. Like a straight up, not like a lecture sermon, but like we had just that eventually, so I sent him, no, it wasn't a sermon, but it was like we just had like one of those philosophical God conversations that we tend to have. Not so much preachy, but just things. And then she got into her conversation and she was just like, man, I'm upset that my pastor hasn't called me. And my mom is like, straight up, like, it's very few people. I do not believe a lot of people when they talk about Christianity and stuff. My mom, like, straight up lives it all the way. Like, you don't want, like, none of these, like, and it's funny because, like, a lot of she was talking about, like, a lot of preachers don't like her in the church because she knows her Bible. Like, she knows, like, so you can't just, like I said, just say, well, my mom is not the well, she ain't doing it. If you ain't saying something right, she gonna tell you, she gonna be like, it say right here in this book, challenge me. What book? What? Like, I feel like the fall off knowledge that I got from my mom in the Bible is more than 98% of the preachers that we see. And so it got me to thinking, though, like, yesterday when I heard them talking about, do churches get federal stimulus? First of all, it was a little challenging for me to have a banker with that much money talking about everything going on in social services, right? That was hard for me. Like, I'm not tripping. It's like, but it was like, man, everything that we talking about. So the white folks over here talking about, we got Megan and Lisk and all that. And I like Megan Hart and all those people, but it's like, we got all these people over here talking. This federal stimulus is going to be hundreds of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars, that's coming down.
Right.
And we're talking about, do churches get the stimulus? Because obviously, politically, that makes sense to ask, because that's like the Dorothy Brown base, blah, 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 right, sort of thing. But it's like, how interesting is it that that's where our focus goes? So our biggest money holder is talking about churches and stimulating churches, and we got all these whatever businesses. So first we got the freaking Black Chamber of Commerce comes on and tells us that the only thing we got is barber and beauty shops, right? So but with no plan to even fight for them. And then the next call we have is we talking about churches and nonprofits, right? In that process, we're still talking about using the federal stimulus for negative things that have that do not have a appreciating value, right? Like, so right now I'm thinking about, how do I take this federal stimulus, these monies, and then take these black businesses that do exist, and how do they use that to get a jump start, right? I feel like when you have to be intentional about looking out for black people, like with all of this, Kurt Summers, the treasurer, and whoever our economic gurus are, need to be in a room saying, this is the Illinois plan when the money comes down. This is what we doing for black folks. Look, we're trying to make sure that in every one of these communities we get a grocery store, a blah, 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 a blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. So if that means that we got to go buy something, I just feel like we're
not taking advantage of the moment.
And it's just like, there are going to be businesses that are going to profit off of this. And
yeah, there always are.
And it is so crazy. I'm really trying to work hard not to be shady on this conversation. But I did feel like I was bothered by the fact that whenever it comes to talk about black people, right? And it was just the same thing. It's like we moved to nonprofits. So now that Willie Wilson can source all the gloves and the masks and buy them in bulk and have them here, now we don't need them. We just want donations. We don't want to buy them now. But we're going to go buy respirators, because if it's us, we are expected to be on the social service part of it. Yeah. If it's them, it's right. So I feel like
I totally agree with you. And part of it, I think it is that people like Willie Wilson become a face, and instead of being the business, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know who makes masks, and I'll never know. That guy's not going to be out there. It's that company, and we're going to take care of that. To help me. I totally agree with you.
Think about the fact that it's like, there could not be, the answer to this could not be a black man. There's no way that the solution to this could be a black dude. It just can't be. Especially not a black dude that's running against Dick Durbin. I'm just saying, it can't be a solution. No. It can't be. It just can't be. And it's just like, I just get so frustrated, because it's like, it seems like I'm the hater, but it's like, I'm not hating. It's like, really? We got somebody to talk about stimulus for the preachers. I'm saying that I didn't see no preachers on social media talking about servicing the sick and shut in. I didn't. I see this is now the time where all the political activist pastors should shut all that political activist shit down and go serve your neighborhoods. What I'm saying is, when my mom says how many people called, her pastor called, it's like, my point is really that they've forgotten what their initial mission is. And so if a church only had a food pantry, they should get federal stimulus, because if they only had a food pantry, for once a month, they should kick that up to once a week, right? There should be, like, you got to show something. It can't just be.
But I don't know if the resources are there for that.
I bet you, because the evangelicals are a big part of his base, they are. It is. You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Hey, Todd. But you know how we do at the top of the hour. Got to say what's up to the WVON morning show team. What's up to Miss Jennifer Thompson in the newsroom, as well as Miss Sonia Escobar, the music conductor of the Soul Plane. Todd, I had some stomach issues, and why is it whenever that... I think it's something about the smell of Brute and Old Spice mixed together. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, with that gold chain, with the pocket watch, that go from the 3-piece suit, and it's them Stacey Adams, them two-tone Stacey Adams.
I had a pocket watch.
I got a pocket watch. I thought I was fresh. But, you know, it's something about when man, it's like that smell lingers. Man, it's like, you know, didn't you ever hug somebody? Now, you can't hug nobody, but then you be smelling like them all day. That's a good reason we got social distancing. Sonia, I have to watch you, though. I know the minister probably tried to come back there and get a hug. It's Talk Chicago, 1690 AM. Hey, y'all, I want to do a new feature tomorrow. And I think we're going to do this on Wednesdays. All right? So, Todd, is going to be called Who You Got. It's called Who You Got. All right? And so,
I got Jordan.
So if you got Jordan and I got... No, I can't take LeBron. But that's exactly the point. So who you got? You know what, man? I just am tired of all the death counts and everything is blah, blah, blah. So what I want to do is, you ever sit around when you was a kid and you be like, if you was the battle of the superheroes? Or like things that, you know, I've been hanging out with my cousin a little bit. And when you hang out with my cousin, he be like, after he get through doing this thing, he has all of these crazy questions like, who would be better? What if Mike Tyson fought Muhammad Ali? Right? Now that's an old one. But he does it all the time. And then he's like, who's better? Like, he was like, if I was doing the seniors, I'd get the seniors all riled up. I'd say, who's better? Dinah Washington or Ella Fitzgerald? Right? Then they'd be like, or like, Todd, what if it's not like, who do you think is the better, like, what if we did the battle of the hairstylists in Chicago? Or like the best music, right? Like, what if you said who was better? Farley or the Chosen Few? Or no, Hot Mix 5 versus the Chosen Few, right? So, tomorrow at 8 o'clock, we're going to do Who You Got. Now, I haven't figured out who it's going to be, but we're going to pick a winner. So, you guys are going to call in and tell us. Now, actually, I'll take suggestions too. Right? So you of who you got. So you can go to the Facebook Live. You can go to my Facebook page. That's Maze Jackson on the Maze Jackson page, or you can go to Maze Jackson. You can go to Facebook Live. But if you got suggestions on who the battle tomorrow should be, leave those. But we're gonna play Who You Got. Todd, like what if it's like Celebrity Deathmatch meets Battle of the Bands, right? And it's like, but you can pick. It's whoever is. They just got to be in the same category, right? So you can't be like Wonder Woman versus Batgirl. Oh, you could do Wonder Woman versus Batgirl.
No, Batgirl.
Batgirl would get killed. Okay. What about like Batman versus Superman? They did a whole movie about that.
Yes.
Right?
They just showed that Batman was really smart and had an awful lot of money.
All right, y'all. So who you got tomorrow, 8 o'clock? It is the battle, but I'm looking for suggestions because, you know, Todd, I was telling Todd that if it was Jodeci versus, who Who would, like, if you had Jodeci versus Boyz II Men, who would you pick? I think maybe Jodeci.
I think Boyz II Men. Jodeci, I can't. No.
Oh, dang.
That's a damn lie, and you know it.
So we got a guest. We got a guest. Andrews, I'm doing it tomorrow.
I know Boyz II Men better than I know Jodeci.
Oh, that's Todd, see. But I'm telling you, Jodeci all day. What would you say between ABC and Crisscross?
I'd say why? But then I'd say, I'd probably say ABC, I guess.
ABC? Crisscross had way more hits. Who would you say, like Jay-Z or Michael Jackson?
What?
What? Are you crazy? How about...
There's some kind of age thing.
What about Beyonce versus, like, Anita Baker? You can't even lie. You know it's Beyonce. All right, look. Anyway, who you got? Tomorrow, I got to figure out what time it is because Andrea Zopp will be on the WVON morning show talking about the census. Get counted, man. Tell me.
My census 2020.
My census. You need to come to your census, Todd. See how I did that? What's that? Was that a homonym? Okay, you gotta leave that one alone because that when you hear, I used to think of the Honeymooners and now I think of Eddie Murphy. So you let that go. All right, y'all. Talk Chicago 1690. How is everybody? Is everybody staying in the house, nice and crispy, toasty? I mean, Todd. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna move on.
Yeah, children are getting to be a little. I gotta use a pitchfork to make them do things now.
That's a pitchfork. Well, speaking of getting them to do things, Todd, and your kids, did you see yesterday that CPS announced that they are moving to e-learning? Because there's probably too many parents calling talking about, the kids, but I'm bored. The funniest thing is kids didn't even want to go outside. They wanted to play their games and stuff, and now all of a sudden they want to go outside. But CPS has announced that we are moving to e-learning. And Todd, I got a few questions. The first question I got is, who's teaching this e-learning? And I'm not being shady. I'm just trying to figure it out. How many CPS students are there? Because they're only giving away 100,000 computers. So my question also would be, computers are...
So what kind of census is made then?
Well, but they say it goes to the lowest 25%. People in the lowest 25 percentile, right?
So I heard someone say, I don't remember who it was, they asked the question, so how do we know these people have internet connection?
There's a whole bunch of different things that are challenges that go with that. So, but I think that's like when you think about Comcast said that they were going to give everybody internet service. But I think there's a lot of stuff that we are now looking at with this e-learning that makes me ask questions. First of all, are parents even equipped? Can I tell you what? My son was with me last week, and he had got off spring break and was doing e-learning. And I couldn't tell. I mean, all I remember is him coming down every day to get a piece of paper at 10:45 to do his art class. And by 1 o'clock, like he should, by 12 he was done for the day. And he had done all of his work, etc. And I peeked in, and I see teachers talking and lectures, but man, I was like, do you have to make your kids get up and get dressed for e-learning? Or do they get to do it in bed? Because I came upstairs, and it's like, the teacher said his grades are good, but I was kind of like, dude, you still got to get dressed. He was like, yeah, I woke up, I don't have to get up for class. I can just wake up and go to class. Are you ready? Like, I feel like I'm like kind of like being like a curmudgeon when I'm like, get up, take a shower, and get dressed. They're like, I'm not going anywhere though. And it's like, no, you got to e-learn. Do you have to get dressed for school? Like, how do you prepare your children for e-learning?
I know what you speak of because I have to sometimes say, okay, go take a shower.
So, and I got like a young boy, right? So like he doesn't, he's unaware of, like young athletic boys.
I know.
Like, dude.
I'm just young and ain't athletic. Hey man, you've been in those clothes for 2 days. So go do something.
Oh my God. So how are you preparing? Are you prepared for e-learning? Are you prepared for teaching? Like, I mean, they said the president just extended this thing to the end of April. So that means parents are going to be locked in with their kids. How do you prepare for e-learning? Let me ask another question. Are teachers, is CPS planning like I almost feel like they need to just make a teacher's channel by age. Like if I was CPS, I would do like classes online, and I would say sign in here, and I would do a regular school day. We're going to talk about that at 8:30 because I want to talk about innovations that have come about because of coronavirus. But I want to talk to the parents and the teachers. I feel like this school year should be a wash. Because seriously, so since February to you just counting on all these kids to pass all these tests and standardized and all this and right, like, is this? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I feel like
I understand because Claire's school has been kind of like trying to figure things out on the fly. First, it was, we're doing things, but this isn't going to count for it.
Well, right, I heard.
Then they had to change that too because people are like, what?
Well, think about it. If you say it's not going to count for nothing, then what am I paying for?
Right,
I feel like, but I feel like in some cases, like in the case of the private schools, they're going to e-learning because they need a reason to keep collecting that tuition. Look, it's Talk Chicago 1690. We'll be back.
More of the morning show.
They don't want to blow out their fiscal budget. Nobody sent the email saying, we're giving you half of the resources, right? A big chunk of the school resources, a big chunk of the tuition is the resources at the school.
Oh, yeah.
So if I ain't got no library, why am I paying full tuition? If I ain't got no gym, why am I paying full tuition? If I can't use, and it's like, seriously, nobody wants to talk about it because they're saying, it's like in some cases, they're saying, pay this so you can keep everything normal, but everybody ain't normal because everybody ain't going to work.
Yeah, but you still have to keep the facility up.
I 100% agree, but I'm not paying to keep up the facility. That's the job of, now, I'm paying to keep up the facility because my son uses the facility.
Exactly.
The moment my son is not using the facility, what am I paying for?
Yeah, but your son's not a senior. So if you want him to come back, you don't want him to come back.
But I need
a rat trap or something like that.
So then they need to have a prorated fee, right? But I'm just saying, like, seriously, what they did was they sent out that bill the same day, and I'm not tripping.
Yeah, nothing changed.
Right? But they know, like, a big chunk of the people that are sending their kids to private school are working class families. This ain't St. Ignatius where they got 15,000, you know what I'm saying? Like, where it's all the millionaire kids.
I mean, they got people who are millionaires, like me.
Right.
But everybody finds themselves in the same boat at the moment.
So that's the point. That's why I'm trying to get Rob Blagojevich to call in at 7:30.
To say what?
He wrote a letter that said that they should be a 3-month ban on all bills, blah, 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 blah. You shouldn't have to pay mortgage, you shouldn't have to pay rent, you shouldn't have to pay, and just make it flat across the board.
How do you do that?
I don't know, but, I mean, I think, how do you tell people who ain't been working they got to pay? It's like what we can figure out is how the people who want to get paid, and I'm not tripping because I'm a person who wants to get paid.
Right.
I got money out, but like I wouldn't be so sweating my money out if I knew that I didn't have to put money out. Right?
Man, that's a tough one. Like, we're paying our tuition faithfully.
Right.
Like May said, it just came out. Of the account. They sent us our contract for next year.
Think about a senior, though. Like,
yeah, seniors have
a senior.
I don't know what that's.
Hey, they shouldn't be. What should they be paying for? Like, you don't got no prom, you don't got no senior nothing. Then, are you really prepared for your first year of college now?
Is anybody though in that class?
Well, that's my point. Like, does everybody get held back a year?
Right. Everybody starts from zero. That's a good question.
What's your function?
Right. Function.
Conjunction, junction, what's your function? You are tuned in to the Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Hey, Todd, are we prepared for e-learning? You know what? That's funny. Sonya played that. Schoolhouse Rock.
Yes.
Can I tell you how much I learned from Schoolhouse Rock?
I'm thinking a lot.
A lot, because I'm thinking about that conjunction, junction, what's that function? I remember all the things, I'm not all of them, but when I tell you, Todd, it was quite a bit that I learned from TV. Remember when you used to stay home and on Channel 32 they would teach you how to do those little crafts? Remember to come back here in the can when it was you take a coffee can and you would put 2 rubber bands and put the thing on and put the washers and then you would roll it and then it'd be like, come back here. And it was like a science experiment, but everybody was running around cutting cans. You don't remember that?
I probably was in college.
Oh, you just okay.
I keep on telling you, you're a little younger than me.
Okay. Well, do you remember? You know what I remember also from school watching TV? I learned about Benjamin Banneker.
Come from what?
From those same things. Those not in Schoolhouse Rock, but on Channel 32 in between the commercials, they would have like Black History moments. And I remember Benjamin Banneker. He rebuilt a watch. That's how I remember. And then he did Washington D.C. He did. Didn't he make the watch?
He made like the first moving parts clock in the colonies.
Okay, and then that's when I learned about Lewis Latimer too. Lewis Latimer, who made the carbon filament.
Yes.
My school learning. So I learned a lot from TV. Like when you know what I was thinking about, but like Todd. Should this school year be a wash? Because if you were sending your kid, if this was their senior year, first of all, you know how hard it is to get through your senior year. Like, honestly. And be focused as a student.
And focused, right?
Right? Now, imagine being home. And it's your senior year. And now, this is the year, because you've already accepted your college. So now, what did you learn to get prepared to go to college this year? Is everybody ready? Should this school year be a wash?
I think you can be ready. The problem is, will the university accept whatever you're trying to give them?
Okay. Give us a call, 312-374-8130. Are you ready for e-learning? Let's go to line 2. Karen, you're on the Talk Chicago 1690. Karen? Looks like Karen. Karen, I know you ain't get off the phone because you ain't have to go to work. Stop running. All right. It's Talk Chicago 1690. Todd, so what are you doing for e-learning with your kids right now? Like, what are you doing as it relates to teaching them from school, from home?
Both Hans and Claire have some kind of e-learning thing where they have to get on the computer at certain times with classes. So Claire's been doing a lot of stuff, and I think at other times she's doing some kind of homework, talking to somebody from class. So, because every once in a while she'll tell me, don't walk behind me.
Now, like, how is this e-learning changed? And will this prove the competence of the schools? Let me ask you another question. Where is CTU in this? Like, is this going to be another contract thing, or are teachers stepping up and saying, hey, this is what I'm doing to make sure that my students don't fall off?
You mean like?
No, I'm just saying, like, I feel like there are teachers, like when you hear about all of the teachers that say they had to feed the kids and they go all above and and all that. Yeah. Like, what have the teachers done to ensure this? Like have they stepped up? Are they? I mean, because I'm sure they're going to get paid, right? So are teachers holding classes? Like, what are the stories? Tell me positive stories about what teachers have done. Teachers, give me a call, 312-374-8130. Give me some positive stories about what you're doing to keep your classes engaged during this time. Because I'm sure that there's a bunch of those ladies on the north side, right, that are holding class. Or not just, no, let me back up. Tell me some success stories about e-learning. Parents, have your teachers stepped up? Have they contacted you? I'm going to tell you, I got a plethora of emails the first week.
Uh-huh.
I ain't heard nothing since.
It hasn't been going on for a long time. And I think since everyone is just trying to put their programs together, I don't think, you can really judge it yet.
Well, I think that there are parents and teachers and everybody that needs help. So this is what I'm going to suggest. A teacher's channel.
What do you mean? Like the public schools will have a...
Why not have Comcast, DirecTV, everybody stepping up? Why not have teachers channel? Why not have take those empty channels, because you got all this empty programming, and put up channels where parents can tell their kids to sit your butt down. And, right? Each school could do a Facebook page and do each of their classes and each of their grades. Select a master teacher.
How do you...
Zoom.
No. Oh. Well, Zoom, if it's Zoom, it's not a channel, right?
Right, but I figure here's what I'm saying. It's time now to figure this out. Black parents, we cannot afford for our children to miss a year of learning. We can't. And I am suggesting that I would love, I'm not being hateful at this point. Right now, what I am suggesting is we need to, like all of these, we got great people. I would say people like Bueller, but she says she likes alphas. It's a hater. But it's like our great principal teachers and learners and all of those people, like, could we talk about maybe coming up with a game plan to teach black kids? Like, even think about, like, could we use our creative people, right, for the junction? Could we do things like that? Could we recreate? How do we keep our children engaged in learning? And how do we sit down? I don't have a degree in teaching, but I do have some resources that I would be willing to pile in to try and get, like, again, I have a studio. Why not have teachers come to our studio and record classes?
Huh. That's not a bad idea. But how do you make sure that the child is engaged and has someone to talk to about the lesson?
You know what, Todd? See,
or is that part of the Zoom?
I think it's all part of the stuff that we have to figure out. But here's what I am suggesting, right? Black folks, right now, what we are seeing is the federal government is not going to be the cavalry. We're trying to figure it out on the state level. Everybody's piecing their thing together. What are we piecing together for our children, right? This is nobody else's responsibility at this point. I'm sorry, CPS is closed. I'm sorry, you mad. Make it easy. Can we collaborate? Business, politics, streets, education, spiritual, and grassroots.
It's never been anybody else's responsibility. I think that's where the trap we always fall into.
Well, right now, we in a super trap. We'll talk about it more when we come back. It's Talk Chicago 1690.
Live from the WVON newsroom, here's our news now.
I hear all these people, and they hate on Booker T. Washington because they saw Madam C.J. Walker movie, which, it's a movie right off the bat. But in the end, what he was saying is, if we don't teach ourselves, then we're never going to get anywhere. And I think he is totally correct. It's kind of interesting because the same guys who kind of like beat up on him are the kind of same guys who say things like, we are sending our children to our enemy to be taught.
Right, and I'm saying, like, right now, I would love to do black school. Like, do Black History Month lessons and teaching and be like, okay, Tennille, I do think your idea is great. Yeah, Beulah, I would ask you to coordinate it, but you probably need an alpha to do it or something.
So then you know it was done well. So that's probably a good idea.
Protect the children. Todd and Sonya, y'all got the camera.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get Blagojevich to call in.
We need to have our own.
Commentary yesterday. That's why I'm trying to get him to call in.
I look at it as such a strange thing, because in some ways our children need to be protected from our own environment. I mean, the Black Panthers were there to protect citizens from the overreaching police and how they would treat us as criminals just because of our color. So we were automatically outcast. But now our problem is with ourselves. We need protection against the people in our neighborhoods, the young people, and it's made it so much more difficult to help children when they're living in war zones. I don't know what happened to the Black Panther Party that I thought popped up a couple of years back, but yeah, I mean, maybe it's like the guardian angels. We need somebody protecting us from us, which is a shame in itself.
Did you guys happen to catch 2020 last night, the special 2020?
That still comes on.
They did a special last night.
I'm not watching any more of that stuff. I'm so tired of it.
About Corona?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I feel like they have you now, like to the point.
They have a what?
They have me to the point where it's like I don't even feel comfortable smiling at people, like or being like cool. Like I don't even want to talk. I just be like in the store,
it was one of those shows just ripped your heart out, and they took it from the angle of the medical professionals and what they're all going through right now.
Oh yeah, they got some.
And yeah, it was. Then they had Cuomo on with the latest news, and it broke down in New York, 1 death every 4 minutes.
Really?
I mean, I just feel like
that was yesterday.
What I want to see is the curves, the death curves. Like what were we at year to date this time last year?
We'll get that. That'll come.
I want to see that, and
and there won't be that big of a difference as of right now. But if it continues like it will go up.
I don't want to downplay it, but at the same time, I feel like it's almost like putting a level of like it almost is becoming depressing. Like I don't.
Of course, it's depressing.
It is. That show last night when they showed nurse after nurse after nurse telling deathbed stories, how they had to communicate and connect families either on FaceTime or on the phone or whatever at that final moment, and they were the conduit between the families, and then go on to the next patient and do their job.
I mean, so without I just don't need to see that. I don't. It doesn't make me positive. I'm staying in the fucking house. So I'm in the house. I don't need to I feel like it is literally
it's doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah, it is doing what it's supposed to do.
Well,
and
great.
it was educating people about, hey, this is, and they did the whole social. Did you see what they did to the homeless people in Las Vegas? They put them in squares on a parking lot.
No.
To put a parking lot, they put a bunch of squares, like a cow patty contest. The homeless people go and sleep in the squares. They got to stay in the squares.
Oh, so yeah, right. That's interesting. Hey, I know that song. Dang it. I hate you.
What the fuck is this? You are tuned into the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Todd?
I know this, but I can't remember where.
It's apparently from the Three Stooges. It's from the Three Stooges. No, it's from the Three Stooges. It's them doing the vows, I guess.
Oh.
Okay. So, social media, not social media question of the day, but what I am trying to, I really want to move on to who's handling the crisis. But before we go, I want to talk about parents and being prepared for homeschooling. I just think that we have to take, it's cliche when we say we send our children to the enemy to be educated. And right now, we have a unique opportunity. I'm not talking about reading, writing, arithmetic. But Todd, what are we programming into our children during this time? I'm going to talk about the innovations. But also, it's like, I want to be an innovator during this time, but I don't think it's in the space of throwing like a party. I feel like there is a unique time right now for us to capture our people and their minds while they're stationary. And is this a time for us to have content and programming for our children? Like, really, think about what's on TV right now as you're flipping through the channels. And what are your children flipping through? They're flipping through YouTube, which is something you ain't even got no clue. But what are we doing? What are we doing to make our children better during this time when they are 100% our responsibility? When you can't ship them off, when you ain't rushing to get them out the door, to get them to the next activity, to get them to the, right? What are you doing? Let me go to the phone lines. Let me go to Lewis. Lewis, you're on the Talk Chicago, 1690.
Good morning, Maze. Good morning, Todd.
Good morning, Lewis.
I'm going to make a comment, and then I'm going to make a suggestion.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is my comment. Okay, it's like we on the Titanic, and we only got 1,000 life preservers, but there's 324,000 of us, in this boat. So who we going to save, And so my suggestion is, I heard that the mayor, she said something about maybe 3 weeks ago, that she had $100 million in surplus for CPS for to feed the kids, and so she said she had $100 million in surplus. Can she take some of that $100 million and spend it on getting us some more life preservers for our kids and getting us a service, for our kids to watch, on that internet?
Okay.
What do you think?
You know what? I think that, I don't know. I think that they haven't figured it out, really, Lewis. I think that they're trying to piece it together, but what they can't do is play like they gonna have these kids sitting at the homes, because I think a lot of parents don't know what to do with them. Let me go to Brother Hall.
Go ahead. A lot of that has to do with timing. It takes time to put these things together. It takes time to put the program together that you actually want the kids to have. And then it takes time to actually do the program.
Yeah. I think that it's not super easy, but I do think that we got to figure out how to, we figure out everything else. Let's figure this one out. Let me go to Brother Hall. Brother Hall, you on Talk Chicago, 1690.
Yeah, good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good, man. Good. How you doing? How you holding up? They taking care? You all right? You being safe?
Yeah, I am. I'm quarantined. I'm in the house, bro.
Okay.
My wife, and actually miss my grandkids, so shout out to them. Let me just say a big shout out to Beasley, where my grandkids attend, and I know for a fact that those black teachers are on their A game in terms of trying to do everything that they can do. But not just at Beasley. There's some fine African American teachers that I know for sure go beyond the call of duty to reach out for their students. They take that very, very seriously, Maze, and that's why I want to give them a shout out and a salute because of the work that they do. I think it's what the brother just recalled before me. I think from the top level, we are not looking at this on how we could get the resources or spend and the resources to protect our children. You just got through saying the cavalry ain't coming. So as voters, we need to put that. We need to make sure prioritize that is what needs to be up front to take care of our children. And lastly, let me just say this: you are so right, my brother, that the Comcast and RCN should step up to the plate, and we should demand that so our children can be occupied, because as you said, they'll run on YouTube if they're not monitored.
Man.
Thanks, man, for letting me share that, bro.
Thank you, Brother Hall. And so we're clear, Comcast has stepped up. Comcast stepped up and said everybody can get some, and they're even turning the speeds up for people during this time. Because think about this, man. Think about just the burden of the net, like with all of the internet running in the house. It used to be, you could just turn on the internet. Now, if you got 3 devices, one of them ain't working. So, Todd, your kids can't watch. If you watching them crazy Netflix specials, man, or if you on RedTube or something, then your kids can't be.
Hey, I'm at home. So at 5 o'clock, I notice everything kind of slows down on the internet.
That's because Hans. Oh my God! Hey man, people be streaming in 4K now too. Okay, it's the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. Todd, now I want to move on. Who's doing it better? Todd, did you see? I gotta give the biggest props out to Mayor Lori Lightfoot. And y'all know I have not been the easiest on the mayor, but I'm gonna go ahead and give her a 10 plus on her how she is handling this crisis on social media. Did you see? First of all, have you seen the mayor memes? Everywhere. She is like the Where's Waldo, but it's like that pose that. First of all, when she's standing outside your door, and it's like, don't you come out this door. First of all, I love the fact that the mayor has
I didn't get that.
Embraced. Oh, sorry, Siri. Stop it, Siri. I love the fact that the mayor has embraced social media. I actually enjoy the fact that she has.
I don't think she made the memes that I watched.
No, she did not make the memes that you watch, but they asked her about it yesterday in the press conference or 2 days ago, and she said she loves them. Right? She says she enjoys them. She's like, it's fun, during this time, people got to have some comedy, right? Have some. And did you see her video though? Did you see the mayor's social? So first of all,
I have to look that up. What if I can find it?
Let me back up and say that what the mayor is doing with social media is what I have asked so many black politicians to let me do for them for almost 10 years. I can show you when I first started doing this. But the mayor has truly integrated social into her plan, into her platform. And it's not she's using other forms. She is creating her own platform. So now when you want to find out what's going to the city, you don't have to go to 2579 VON, any of that. You can hear, see, and do it directly from the mayor. I'm going to tell you that I don't feel scared when I hear the mayor talk. I get mad because I feel like, you ain't my mama. I'm going to tell you that
she does come off as your mom.
You don't know my mama.
I don't mean your mama.
Did you say my mama? No, you talk about my mama? If you said your mama even in a sentence back in the day, it was called for a fight.
Yeah.
Your mother. Did you say your mother is a very nice lady? Right. But Todd, compare the two styles. Like, I feel like when I hear the mayor come on TV, I feel like she's like the teacher, the mean teacher that when you're in 4th grade and you don't want to get up for 5th grade. Because, like, it's the one teacher, everybody be like, who you get? And then it's be like, in Chicago, in Bolingbrook, it was Miss Shapaniak. If you got Miss Shapaniak, it was like, she is the worst teacher ever. She is so mean, but everybody in her class liked her, right? She was like mean to everybody outside, but once you got to know her and you understood her rules, then you could get with her.
Right, I get it.
That's how I feel about the mayor. I feel like with the governor, I feel after I get off, I feel less secure. I feel less secure after I watch that press briefing. I love Dr. Ngozi. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna tell you, I feel nervous. I feel like, are we gonna make it? When I talk to the mayor, it's like, we're gonna make it. Even if I have to slap your butt across the line, we gonna make it. Like she gonna pick you up by your back of your shirt and by the back of your pants and throw you over the line, but you gonna be alive.
Because they are giving two different messages.
Okay, so
his message is, our dad is helping, and her message is, do what I told you.
So let me ask a question. For the residents of Chicago, who would you rather have in a crisis like this? Would you? Because I'm tired of 2 press conferences. I think they heard us on 2 press conferences yesterday because they had the mayor and the governor on their press conference, but then all of a sudden they dropped on TV. They dropped the mayor off, and then when they came back, it was Dr. Ngozi. Who do you feel more comfortable? Give us a call 312-374-8130. Who do you feel is handling the crisis best? And then let me ask a question. Who in the black community has taken a leadership role politically in this space? Like, what have we heard from any of our black elected officials? And I'm not counting the mayor in that. Not that I'm not saying she's not black, but she don't necessarily. Who is our person at the table? Think about when we talked to Larry Ivory and them guys last week. Mm-hmm. They was like, we don't talk to the governor. Who does? Stop Chicago 1690. We'll be back.
More of the morning show with Maze Jackson coming up.
Right, but I'm saying in this crisis, who's saying this is what you got to do for the black people?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, again, have we put someone forward? The Black Caucus should say, this is the person who we're designating, the Joint Black Caucus, this is the person we're designating, and if you want our support, this is who we want at the table. Whether it's Kurt, whether it's whoever, but somebody has to be in that circle. I mean,
it's like, yeah, there's got to be some leadership to put that together, though. Now, who's that supposed to be? The caucus chairs?
Well, I'm saying they have a joint black caucus where all of the black caucuses, all the black elected officials meet. What are they talking about during this fuss? Again,
I'm pretty sure they're not meeting right now.
So they can't Zoom? They all be their ass on the damn Vince Adams party.
What's that?
They all be on. If it's a social media party, them mugs on there, they can have a meeting. It's like, come on, man. Man. Okay, y'all got the camera.
All right.
I mean, if Michelle Obama is partying with DJ D Nice, y'all trying to tell me we can't organize no 30 black folks to say this what we want?
Yeah. Man, I can't find this thing that Maze was talking about that the mayor did.
I'll keep you on the line. He's got your information there.
A lot of stuff on the mayor, but I can't find that.
Hey, I'm looking for a call from Blagojevich.
An hotline?
Mark Vargas. So I'm looking for a text. I'll tell you.
Nope. Nothing.
Huh? Yeah, go ahead.
I went from looking in the wrong space. Maybe it's on the City of Chicago website. The picture of the mayor on the website is probably the best picture I've ever seen of the mayor. Which I guess would make sense.
Essential. Your dog doesn't need to see its friends. You can work on your jump shot inside. Apologies to all the Aries, but if you stay at home now, maybe you can celebrate with the Geminis later.
Have you seen this?
I'm trying to see if it was on a website, but I can't find it.
Just stay home. Save lives. Hey, Viv, what's up?
Mom, I'm bored.
You're not bored. You're saving lives. What's more important, saving lives or getting a pedicure? It's cold out. Your toes?
What are you doing?
What am I doing? Right now? Saving lives.
Tying run at second, 2 out, Pombero.
Tell you what, if my White Sox win, you gotta stay home.
Uribe charges, throws, out! And the White Sox have won the World Series!
Hey, it's not that hard. Stay home. Save lives. The trick.
Oh, no, go ahead, finish the last one.
Hospitalizations will break our healthcare system. Stay home. Save lives.
It's the Talk of Chicago, 1690 AM. Oh, you know what, Todd?
Well, I'll tell you what I know. There's somebody smarter than I am. I looked all over it and I couldn't find those things.
It's on social media. Did you go on Facebook?
No.
So again, Todd, that's your problem, right? Because the mayor has maximized the usage of Facebook throughout this. Actually, since her beginning of her term, and I gotta give her social media team the props because they have done a tremendous job of keeping people informed and really not. Again, I don't feel insecure. Like I feel like when your mama tell you something you don't want to hear, and you be like, I already know that. When she said, I know, but I told you again. I already know. Say something else. Okay, I heard you.
No.
Right?
No, I don't think that's how my conversation with my mother would go.
How did your conversation with your mama go?
Well, if I said say something else, it'd probably be like either click or pop.
All right, well, first of all, and no, say something else. No, I'm not.
Right, there it is on Facebook.
See, I'm telling you. Let me ask you a question. How many people, like, you see how you can go and get answers on Facebook? I am telling you that this is one of the things that we need to talk about, and I'm going to push this to 8:30. But the innovations, because I think the mayor has done a great job. I'm going to tell you, though, Todd, after I get off the phone, after I get through watching the governor's press conferences, I'd be nervous that I'm up. I'd be like, oh, my God, the federal government, they sent us the wrong mask. They sent us...
I tell people on Facebook that...
now you use Facebook.
Oh, I do. A little fear is good for the soul because then you realize that this is very serious and you're not out on the lakefront hopping around.
But that wasn't fear. The mayor kicked the button. She told him and she shut it down. I feel like it's one thing to be scared. For me to be scared is another thing for the leader to be scared or to project scared. And that's what I'm talking about. I'd be like, God, that Donald Trump's going to kill us all. Mayor said, just stay your butt in the house. Who's winning them?
But that's how you get sometimes when, I felt like that sometimes when I was dealing with some of these guys. Like, what the hell's wrong with this idiot? Why isn't he doing what's good for all of us?
Well, I'm going to tell you, I want to know who you got. The mayor or the governor? Who you got? I'm taking the mayor. Let's go to the live line.
21 or 16?
Yes, the governor from Illinois. All I worry about is Illinois right now. Y'all, I don't want nothing to do with New York. They can keep whatever they got, including because all y'all over here like, Cuomo, I want him to be the vice president. Yeah. Cedric, who would you want to lead you in a crisis like this? Having seen how they both handled it, the mayor or the governor?
The mayor. Landslide at that.
The who? I missed that.
The mayor.
The mayor. Okay, tell me why.
Let me tell you why. Because Pritzker, he's coming from an angle. He's crying to the president, talking about he don't have enough masks, nor do we have the ventilators, right? what the mayor is doing, she's saying if you stay in the house, you wouldn't even need a mask. If you stay in the house, you wouldn't even need to be on the ventilator. If
She
you stay in
said,
the house,
cut out the middleman.
Man, so she's staying proactive. It's like, look, all this stuff we don't got, you can avoid getting on any of these things if you just stay in the house. So she's proactive right now. Pritzker's thinking about what if everybody gets sick. So it's two opposite ends of the spectrum that they're looking at. And I'm going to go with the person that's proactive because the one that's proactive is going to keep us alive the longest.
All right. That's what I'm talking about, Cedric. Milton, who you got, the president or you got the governor? I mean, the mayor or the governor? The mayor or the governor?
I got the mayor.
Tell me why, Milton.
Because she is black. Black people are born wealthy, are born intelligent. They're born with everything. This is black man's earth.
Thank you, Milton. All right, y'all. In the face of this crisis, so first of all, I'm not pitting anybody against anybody, but I am gonna tell you, I be mad at the mayor, Todd. I be talking back on the phone. I be talking back like, don't tell me what I'm telling you. I be snapping at the TV. Choose your words. I be like, don't tell me what to say. Don't tell me what to do. Okay, so I be talking. I be quiet. I be quiet. And I went outside yesterday and I was like, ooh. Like, I was like, ooh. Because I saw the white folks and I was like, oh, yeah, they white though.
No, you're right.
I was like, they not going to go to jail.
But I think they both have their roles. And I think they're both playing them.
Okay, but if you had to pick one.
It's the governor's job to say that we're not getting what we need because he has to look at the long game. He can't look at the short game.
Okay, so for me, I'm gonna tell you how I feel. Like, I feel like in times of trouble, it is our leadership that we should look to, not to say, "Oh my God, they're coming, they're coming." They must tell us we must stand in the face, and in the process, we will get reinforcements, we will get more gloves, we will get more masks, but we will defeat this. Not like, damn, that Donald Trump again. All I'm saying is, Todd, if I had
look Trumper, I don't think
I'm not Trump. Oh, now
I
I'm
don't
a Trump.
think that's what the governor's saying. The governor's saying, why are you BSing with this? This is not politics.
Why is he telling us that? He need to be telling them that. And I'm just saying.
When you're the governor, you're supposed to let everybody know.
Okay.
That's his job.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you what his job need to be. Like Rob Blagojevich said. Let me tell you what. Rob Blagojevich can be getting reelected right about this. Right now. Did you see what Rod said? Rod said that the governor needs to declare a 3-month moratorium on all bills so that people don't feel forced to go out, that they don't feel like they got to survive to make it. See, I think it's real.
Boy, that doesn't sound like he has that power, though.
You know what? I'm just telling you like this. They got every other power they want to have. Never let a good crisis go to waste. We'll be back after traffic news and the weather.
The talk of Chicago and the voice of the nation. 1690 WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
33 more detained.
Like, I don't know if I need a daily death count. I really don't. Is it me? Do we need that?
8, 5.
Do you need the death count daily? Do you think that the death count is making people take it seriously? I think they're taking it seriously now. I think across the board, I think it is being taken seriously.
Well, that's part of the news, though. There's no way you're going to get around.
I don't think that every newscast should be a half hour. Like, so if you turn on the news from 4 to 6:30, it's all corona. It's all corona. Mud's getting killed around here. Bodies getting dragged. I'm just saying.
Well, maybe that should be a story too. Then that if they focused on that, hey, this is a serious problem. This needs to be solved. I mean, we just kind of like gloss over that. There's people getting shot all the time, and these crazy kids are making people's lives hell.
Yeah, right. I'm just saying. It's like what we prioritize. I feel like I'm tired of the daily death count, though. Like, I feel like if they don't get to a certain amount of deaths, then this is going to be like... I feel like some people will be disappointed if we don't get a lot of deaths. That's what I feel like. And I really am curious, like, what the hell is going on with this election? Like, honestly.
What election?
Exactly. They're going to be like, in wartime, we can't have, there's no time for an election.
No, that's actually, we have precedent for this, so that won't happen.
Here we go with the what won't happen. Remember that? I bet the Indians said the same thing. The Indians did just like this. Man, so what them 10 white people on that boat? You see how many of us is? We own this. We populated this whole country. Them 3 boats right there. Psh, give them a little food. Give them a little. Go ahead, feed them. Show them how to put the fish by the corn. Okay, got it. Now what?
No, we've had elections during wartime.
Oh, I'm not saying we haven't. I'm not debating that. I'm saying, but if I wanted to use this as a crisis, I could make it a vote by mail presidential election because there's a new outbreak that's preventing us from going to the polls.
Well, no, you actually can't because the states control the electoral process.
Mm-hmm. I'm just telling you. I love everybody telling me what can be done. If you would have asked a year ago, could the governor get on TV and tell everybody they can't come outside? Mugs would be like, that can't happen. That can't happen.
No, I've heard of martial law. I know what that is.
In the United States?
Yeah.
Where?
The only reason it's martial law. It's MARTI.
I know. You want to spell now? Oh, he want to get in the spelling. He want to get in a spelling contest. Speaking of spelling contests, Reagan has vocabulary words for you all.
Oh.
She says that you all. I'm trying to think of a time when I could do this. The weekly vocabulary words should be quarantine, physical, virus, eliminate, isolate. Can you spell those words? Ooh wee.
It's like 5 words, wasn't it?
Yep. Use them.
Michigan cases surge. Detroit emerges as new hotspot.
And the next day.
See, this is not unusual. I mean, this is what we who follow public health a little bit expect. You expect there to be surges, especially in the highly populous areas.
Right. I mean, I'm saying that they're not saying anything to me. Like just when they say we got more cases in Italy. Well, Chicago is the same. I mean, Italy is the same size as Illinois. We have like 50 times that.
Huge. Yeah, we look at Italy and what happened to them, like, whoa. But this is the period, the next 7 to 10 days, where we expect our numbers to really go up. So this is what, if I got this correct, this is what should happen. Our numbers should surge. People should actually start being afraid again. Then in a couple more weeks, we'll have another surge. And then after that, it just kind of die down because now people have actually taken it seriously. That's why they always talk about these numbers. People don't take. You see all these people running around in the streets? This is the least amount of traffic I've ever seen since it started when I came to work. People are hard-headed. All right, I'll give the mayor that. She's talking to people like that because they're hard-headed. So she's talking like that.
I'm saying she can be strong, but I don't feel insecure. I feel like I can have a strong leader that even in the face of a trial can be firm, direct, and still not make me feel insecure. I can be real. I think she's real about what the reality is without like causing additional panic. I feel like they don't have a handle on it, so if anything goes wrong, they want to be able to have somebody to blame instead of saying, this is what the hell we're going to do, Illinoisans, let's go. I don't need to be in the middle of a war and you making me feel like, shit, we gonna die. It's like, no, in the middle of a war, if my leader is my leader, then it's like, man, we fighting to the end, but they ain't gonna beat us.
Yeah, but you have to let people know that you don't act
But what the president got to do with it? That's I'm saying like that. I'm talking about Illinois. We're talking about how is he dealing with Illinois, and it's like I just feel like he's creating more fear.
If your leader doesn't give you the tools, you will not be able to pass.
So then what the fuck do we need a governor for? What is he doing in the meantime?
The governor didn't have the power to make the.
So he's not doing anything now.
No, you said that. He didn't say that.
Okay, I think we're talking about two different things.
Mr. Soul, can control crime. Right.
Whoa, show me just the game I play when I wanna say I love you. Whoa, show me, tell me, will you feel the same way too? Say you do, baby. You are tuned into Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Got to say what's up to Jennifer Thompson in the newsroom, as well as Miss Sonia Escobar. She's the music conductor of the Soul Plane. So, Todd, I just want, before I move on to my next topic, I guess what I was trying to say is that I feel like we all know who Donald Trump is, right? And I don't know if I need to know that Donald Trump is a jerk every day. I mean, I think he may prove it every day on his own press conference. I feel like in times of crisis, there's a level set, right? And that set level is that the president is not really going to be sending the cavalry to Illinois.
If I am the leader, it is my responsibility to poke the bear till the bear gets up, does something.
Right, the bear has gotten up and done something. The bear has gotten up and said, "Screw you, keep talking." I mean, I'm just saying, like, I guess.
Basically, you're saying fear should be what the governor's about. I better not say nothing about myself. He may hit me.
No, I think that's an oversimplified suggestion, and I think you're a bit smarter than that. I think that if you've been a diplomat, right, and you are negotiating with the bear, right, and the bear or the lion, and your head is in the lion's mouth, right, then you don't punch the lion. Now, but what I'm saying is,
no, as a negotiator, you learn that sometimes you cannot just negotiate back and forth across the table like we're talking. Sometimes you have to use your stick, and your stick is the public. So you have to make it public that this side is not doing what they need to do.
Okay, so I think that in this crisis, if you were to ask me, I would rather hear from my leaders what we are doing to offset what isn't happening. But I feel like I wouldn't panic. The worst thing that I feel like, anytime you've been in a crisis situation, anytime I've been in a bad situation, I use the Ken Duncan thing as a perfect example. We knew that there was an onslaught coming, right? We knew it. But what we didn't do was go into our war room and tell all of our troops, "Hey guys, they're about to come kill every single one of you and you're all going to be dead." What we said was, "Look, y'all, we are about to go into a war." Did you see the movie 300? It didn't always end well for the people, but they fought to the bitter end. And the troops say, "Let's go!" And they fight till they fight. I'm just saying, for me, there's only a certain amount of boogeyman-ness, fearness that you're going to get before I say, "Okay, what you doing? What's your role?" And so if I was given the choice, I feel like I like the way the mayor is handling it.
More of the morning.
Whoa. I feel like the mayor is handling it in a way that doesn't make me more fearful than I need to be. I am concerned about this and I'm staying in the house, right? But I don't need to look up. I guess like when you turned on the thing, Winston Churchill was the man because he stood in the face of and bah. He wasn't like, oh my God, they're coming. And so I guess I just have a different way of wanting to be in a war.
You're doing it backwards. Winston Churchill would equate to what's his name? Trump, not
to Trump.
Yes, he would be Trump because he was running the country.
Okay, no. Trump, no. He was battling Hitler. So Hitler would be the virus.
No, they weren't in a ring together. He was running England.
I got that. But England was about to be under the onslaught from Germany.
Well, they already were, but yeah.
Okay, right. And so when Winston Churchill got on TV, he was not Trump. He was the virus and Trump.
Because Winston Churchill could not get any help from anywhere. He didn't get on TV and say, U.S., you better get over here tomorrow, because that was not his role. Now, maybe one of the governors or whatever they have inside of the district of the UK should say, Mr. Churchill, we need this, because they weren't provided. That's what the governor's doing. He's saying to the leader, you're not providing what this section.
Why is he doing that to our State of the Union? I mean, with the State of Illinois address. That's a whole nother conversation. To me, if you're addressing the people of Illinois and you got everybody looking up, you don't say, well, I guess it's a whole different way.
You have to look at it from the beginning. This is how I look at it, and I may be wrong, but this is how I see it. There was a chance to be prepared before we got to this point. The leader decided that this was not important, so they did not ramp up any resources. So now we're at the point where, like I was just reading a Facebook friend of mine saying, why are they giving me surgical masks when surgical masks don't do any good? Because we were not prepared. No one decided that we need to have the right equipment, so when this gets serious, we can get it out.
So who?
And sometimes you have to jump out there and make a mistake.
Like when you went to say go to Chinatown? Like say go to Chinatown? So nobody else saw this. What were all the other forecasters doing? What other forecasters?
On the side of safety, not on the side of spending money.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say this, Todd. I'm going to say that I don't think the president has handled this well. I don't. I really don't think anybody has handled it well. I mean, I would love to see the example of it being handled well. Like, I would. But I'm going to let that be. All I'm saying is, in the case, if I'm going to a fight, I don't, like I always tell my people, when we go to a fight, don't hold me, go hold them. Don't tie my hands behind my back. I want you at full fighting strength. I want you to be as resilient as possible. I don't want you to have fear and all types of stuff creeping in the back of your head. Like, we might not. And it don't have nothing to do with being a bow down to the president. I'm saying, Illinoisans, what are we going to do knowing that we don't have a cavalry coming? And that was just my point. I'm going to move on.
No, see, the problem with that is you can't ignore the fact that either the president thinks he's the smartest man in the world and makes his own decisions without any knowledge from any specialist.
So now what, Todd?
Or he hires specialists
now what?
Who don't do what they're supposed to do. So that's when you have to put pressure on the president the way he has to.
So now what? So what does that equate to for the citizens of Illinois?
I mean, what do you want to do?
Well, I mean, I'm saying, what is that? How does that equal? So if we know that one of the factors in our plan is that we have a crazy person who's going to play us to the left and he could be all types of erratic, what's our plan moving forward? To cry about him being erratic, or to say he's erratic, so while he's over here in the erratic box, this is what I need for you Illinois citizens to do. And this is what we're doing.
So he did both. You're just complaining about one half of what he said.
No.
He said stay home. He gave you an order to stay home. That is the order that the mayor is working off of.
Every day. I'm saying every day. Every day we know we're staying home. Now what? Now what? Again, it goes back to my point. Hold on. So it goes back to my point of just last week, we were dying because we didn't have any PREs. Right? We didn't have any PREs. Oh my God, there were mass. People were tearing up everything. They were fighting. They were pulling apart. I still haven't heard anything from Cook County saying they've had these same issues. I'm curious to hear about that. I did reach out to the president, so we'll ask her about that next week. But at the same time, so when there was a solution, then it wasn't as much of a crisis. And now it is, we're taking donations, not we're doing everything we can to get them because we're up. I just feel like there's this panic, stop. And I feel like I just want, tell me to stay in the house, don't go in the yard, and then that's what I'm going to do. It's Talk Chicago 1690. Yeah, we'll be back after traffic and the weather.
More of the morning show with
I guess, Todd, it's like, why do we need to keep being, why do I need my leader to keep telling me it's bad out here? It's bad out here. It's bad. We fucking know it's bad out here. Like, if you're telling me you want me to enlist in the war, but then you tell me, but you're gonna die because you're not gonna encourage me to enlist in the war. You're not. I feel like when you watch war movies, Braveheart, any of that, they're always facing insurmountable odds. The leader is the person who, in the face of insurmountable odds, motivates you to go, to fight, to do what you got to do. I feel like this, and so
Your motivation in this instance is fear of death. Stay home. That is your sword. Isolation.
Okay. So, to me, and I don't know if I'm communicating this properly or not. Have you ever been in a fight, in a group fight? Probably not. I'm not doing this to denigrate you. I'm not saying that you ain't gotta.
Being in a group fight wouldn't denigrate me.
Okay, so.
Things happen.
Got it. Have you ever been in a group battle where it looks like if you are, like the odds are, what you're saying is the same thing as, to me, the Madigan argument, right? So what we're going to say is, right, he's the bad guy, and so we're going to blame him. We should not make a plan for ourselves to move forward or to attack or to go forward.
Not at all. And they are making a plan, but you can only make so much of a plan. Most of our resources, when you look at the government is designed for when there are times of crisis. The states don't print money. The only people who print money is the U.S. government. So when there are times of crisis, the state gets together and they say, well, they don't get together. Each state says to the government, the national government, this is a crisis. We need your support. And then they either get money, supplies, whatever comes from the national government, and in this case, FEMA would probably head this kind of stuff to help the state. So yeah, if they are not doing what they need to do, they need to be called out. That doesn't mean that that's all you do. The governor didn't make a speech and say, they ain't giving us nothing, I'll talk to you tomorrow. No.
I think it's all political, yo. I just think everybody's playing political. And it's like,
politics starts at the president's office.
I'm not debating it. I'm not debating it.
The president obviously doesn't remember that he's the president of all the states, blue, red, purple. I don't care.
All I do is, I'm not saying, I just choose to deal with the world as it is, not how I'd like it to be. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Right. I'm not debating.
And someone who's always talking about you need to fight, I don't see how you don't see how you have to say something. You just can't let this go.
That is not. You don't say that to your troops. You don't tell people you tell that to the fucking president. You go fight with the president. You don't tell your people.
The president has made the fight public.
Okay. I'm just saying like this. I don't need.
That's what the president does.
I'm just saying, turning on the TV every day, whining is not the way that helps me want to be in the fight. It doesn't.
I don't know. Maybe he whines every day. Maybe I just don't watch him enough.
I'm not talking about the decisions. I'm talking about, and a lot of times what I found is that in a fight, it ain't always, man, people gotta believe. You just gotta believe. And I think you use Trump as the enemy to pull people together. But I don't know if that's what's happening. All right, let's go. And this was about the governor and the mayor and how their styles. I like the mayor's style. That's all. You are tuned into Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Hey, Todd, you know what? We got twisted up on that whole subject. Can I just say that the only thing I was really trying to say was, if I had to choose between the two people, I'm not really debating either one because I want them to both be successful. But if I had to choose a style, I just prefer the mayor style. You obviously prefer the governor style.
No, I didn't say that. I think they both are doing what they need to do.
Okay.
They have different roles in different spaces.
Got it. Okay. I'm going to let that be right there. Let's move on. Todd, did you see that interstate travel bans are being instituted? Did you know that if you are going to Texas and you are coming from Miami, Detroit, Chicago, California, or Washington, D.C., you are subject to an immediate quarantine when you get off the plane for 14 days? What if your trip is only 2 days? No, you have 14-day quarantine, or you have to go back right away, and they don't care how much it costs you. The enforcement includes quarantine, $1,000 fine, or up to 60 days in jail. Kind of glad I live in a free state right now. And I guess these are necessary steps. I'm not debating it. It's funny because I think Texas is seeming like they have all the resources that they, let me not say all the resources that they need, but apparently the governor of Texas is looking at, they've got plenty of beds for hospitals, they are bulking up, etc. One of the things I was talking to one of my home-based political scientists who was suggesting that a lot of red states are prepared or have resources that they need, and so they like stay y'all blue state selves, even though Florida is not a blue state, right? But Miami is like one of those cultural mixes. I was just thinking though, Todd,
Miami, I think is supposed to be like purple. I'm not Miami, Florida. It's supposed to be on the teetering edge of either one, but it always seems to turn up red when you least need it to be red.
Because they count. They always get Secretary of State. They know which one to get.
Right.
Get the person who handles the count. But I was just thinking about this, Todd, and the enforcement of this, right? And what if you flew through Chicago, right? What if you had a connecting flight to Chicago? First of all, you probably shouldn't be flying nowhere. Shouldn't be going anywhere. But Todd, I was just thinking about when this
somebody in our family, and I was like, and you're traveling? Why?
Because they probably were like a 20-year-old. Like, they're okay. Well, I was just thinking, Todd. But the thing that concerns me about that is the enforcement. I think all of these rules sound really cool until it comes to the enforcement. Remember when the mayor shut down the beaches, and then the black people was the first people to get arrested, and this white folks still at the beach, right? Can you imagine how that plays out in Texas? Mike Saunders said, and I don't know. I mean, he said it on Facebook, so I'm gonna assume he said that yesterday he had a family relative that got off the plane in Dallas. They immediately said, quarantine. You have to sign to where you're going. Sound like you need some papers to move around. And then they knock on the door to check to see if you were infected. Now he was saying that this niece got sent home from college in NYC because the college closed. I'm just saying, man. All I'm suggesting is I am a little bit concerned about the enforcement of these laws and how do you dial it back.
Oh, you can dial it back in a epidemic, pandemic.
What if they don't want to?
A little crazy.
So, but think about a place like Mississippi. Think about a place like Texas.
Well,
I mean, you know how the
slave states anyway. So
okay, so how many of the laws are on the books that are still on the books from hundreds of years ago that we always say, did you know it was illegal to?
Probably a lot of them.
Right? Did you know it's still illegal to? Right? And so it's funny because it's then those same archaic laws that come back to be haunting us at some other time. And I just feel like we are so carefree and like this is all, like I don't believe that. I always feel like when something washes on the shore, something gets left behind, right? So I'm not suggesting that all of these things are bad that they're doing for the pandemic, but somebody's gonna say, hey, that was a good idea. Like, you know how they said with the cell phones, and it's like, but now we can track you individually. I just am concerned about how this all plays out. The other thing that you see in Texas, they said they are not letting out people in jail. I guess my question is, why would someone, I'm not hating, please don't take this wrong, but if you are in jail with the coronavirus, why would they let you out?
No, they're not talking about letting people out with the coronavirus. They're talking about letting people out who, well, I should probably say they're letting people out who don't have any symptoms of the virus.
So, here's what we know. What we know is that you may not have the symptoms and you could be carrying it around and passing it around. So now, if somebody's been in the Cook County Jail, they may not have symptoms. We're going to turn them loose and put them on the street. Now, I'm not suggesting that I want someone with coronavirus to get out, but I thought that we have already tweaked the system so that nonviolent offenders are not getting locked up. And if you are locked up, if you get put in and you're locked up at this point, you see what I'm saying? Like, if you are a nonviolent offender, you shouldn't be in jail at this point now. Remember, that's why they're saying that the jails are kind of empty.
Yeah.
So
no, they're not kind of empty, but there's just not as many people.
Okay, so at that point, if you go in, you've already been determined that your offense is enough that it ain't about you being a nonviolent offender. Now, my concern is why Texas said they're not letting nobody out, which is Texas, which I debate. But I'm saying, does it make sense to let someone out, to create new rules to let people out because of Corona? Or do we say because of Corona you'll be
new rules though?
You'll be safer, and the community will be safer because you may be homeless, you may have challenges, you may be all of these things. 3 squares in a cot, 3 hots in a cot, right? I'm not tripping, but
no. There are literally people who will commit a crime during the winter, so they can go and, like I said, 3 squares.
So if you understand that, right? My question is, why would we let people out who we don't know necessarily whether they've got the infection? I know they ain't making testing a priority in prison or in jail right now. We've got the rules that say if you're a nonviolent offender, that you shouldn't go to jail anyway. So my question would be, why would we let people out?
There's still some nonviolent offenders who end up in the jail.
Okay. So I guess, where do they go? How do we deal with it and how we manage it? Should there be a quarantine section in the jail that deals with that instead of like a hospital wing, or increase the space inside? I don't know, and I'm not tripping. Give me a call.
They have a hospital, but you're not gonna put anybody in there until you know they're sick.
Okay. Well, it's a question. Should we be letting people out? Let's talk Chicago 1690. Oh, I got about 30 seconds. So, Todd, I am thinking about these new laws and these rules. What do you think what rules of this do you think people like? Particularly government, that they would want to keep during this. Like, what are the rules of the pandemic that the government would keep? I'm telling you, the police would love the ability to lock you up because they said you're supposed to be outside.
There won't be anything. Not in these. This is tantamount to martial law.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna tell you, I think there's gonna be some laws left over from this that we're not gonna like. Hey, I just got a call. Rob Blagojevich at 8:45 wants to talk a little bit about what he had to say to he thinks the governor should be doing. That ought to be interesting. We'll talk about it more. Let's talk Chicago 1690.
Live from the WVON News.
I got to be the super producer. Yeah, I just wonder, do we let people out? Like, I feel like in the jail, why wouldn't you make like a wing? If there's an empty wing, which I think they said there is, why not make that a large infirmary like the other place? And you put people and you service them there. I always feel like I'm concerned, like some people go to jail because of the hots in the cot. And again, if you're homeless, and if you're homeless, where do you go? Like, and then if you come home and you just got out of jail, do your parents open up the door and say, come in, and we just heard that it was coronavirus at the jail? Because most of those people are going to go where? To their parents? Or a significant chunk. If they got somewhere to go, they're going to probably be looking for an older parent or an adult or somebody to go somebody's place that they can go crash at while being in jail and being exposed and not being tested. So are they testing them before they let them go? Or is it just you don't show no symptoms, so we're going to put you outside?
If you're not showing any symptoms, I'll put you outside.
Huh?
That's what I think.
Right. So, again, but that's the whole point of why you're not supposed to be able to go outside. Right?
Because you're not showing symptoms. I get that. But I think it's and this is what I think they're doing, right or wrong. I think it's a safety measure for the inmates and the guards. At least that's how they're
Well, I'm saying, but should any of the guards that have been infected be coming back to work? Because if they've been exposed and they got they just ain't their carriers. I'm just telling y'all, boy. Some of the stuff just doesn't all add up to me. That's why I gotta just shut the fuck up. If you're homeless, the city is securing rooms for that population if they can find you. Stop. It's like they got how many homeless and how many rooms? Let's be real. There ain't got enough rooms to fill all the homeless, and all the hotels ain't. And let me ask you a question. Are you staying in a hotel after you knew that they put homeless people there that had the coronavirus? I bet you their revenues are gonna change post. No, I'm just saying, it's like they're going to let people out and then be like, we don't have enough tests to test people. They're going to send them untested because they don't show symptoms. Do y'all understand how crazy this sounds to me? I know I'm crazy.
But that's how they're treating everybody. I mean, I think I told you when my sister-in-law was sick, she went to the doctor. I think they maybe gave her some IV and sent her home. She was definitely sick.
So
she went back and they sent her home again.
So my point is, why would we then release a whole nother population into the universe? You told us to stay home. They got a place. Stay there. And I don't mean it out of harshness. I mean it out of everybody's locked down. Turn on the TVs in every room. Let them have longer time. But don't release a population on us that we don't know.
Baby, I need your loving. Got to have all your loving. Baby, I need your love. All your loving.
You are tuned in to Talk Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. Todd, you know what? I'm going to go to the phone lines. I want to just talk about like some of the stuff that is going on with this coronavirus. Will there be long-lasting repercussions? Let me go to Carl. Carl, you want to Talk Chicago 1690?
Good morning, Mays and Todd.
Good morning, Carl.
I was a 61 Golf in the military for 10 years before I got out, which was an infectious waste disease officer. So some of this stuff, a lot of this is particularly things that I dealt with when I was in the military, and there's a lot of mistakes that are being made in how they handle this pandemic.
They're being what?
There are a lot of mistakes that the government is making and U.S. citizens in handling this pandemic.
Talk to me.
Hello?
Yeah, talk to me. Explain to me what you mean by that.
So look, one of the things that we're trained on is handling a crisis like this. So first of all, there's misinformation about the use of the mask. The N95 respirator, one of the things from the CDC that they're saying is that, and the government, President Trump and the mayor, and as well as the governor has also have lowered the importance of an N95 mask. And one of the reasons they've done that is because they want to make sure that people don't panic because there's a shortage of the mask. And two, they want to make sure that the first response, people in the first line, people who are healthcare providers, doctors, nurses, ambulance drivers, have access to the mask. But the mask is very important because in our training, you never see people going into a hostile area without a mask or area where there's infection without a mask. I don't know if you remember during the Ebola outbreak, and they were bringing back American citizens who had been infected with the disease. There was special attention made for their transfer from out the country to Emory Hospital in Atlanta. And all the healthcare workers and people, scientists, were fully covered with masks, with suit, gloves, shoe covering, to protect, and face shield to protect them from the virus. The virus is 0.1 micron. That's very small. In everyday language, you need 33,000 of them grouped together to equal 1 centimeter, which is about a little bit more than a quarter of an inch. So we're dealing with a very, very small, invisible to the naked eye virus. And the face mask that we're not utilizing, because you don't know who's infected. You have to assume everybody is a carrier. And so when you go out to go grocery shopping, people don't have masks on. When people are going to the gas station, you don't know if the person came behind you just sneezed. The virus itself can live with it for 3 hours in the air. And some scientific studies are saying they can live up to 6 to 7 hours on certain surfaces. They're saying 3, but I've read studies that say it can live longer on surfaces. So people are touching shopping carts with rubber gloves, and then they go into their car and touch their car. They're making a lot of key mistakes. So one of the things I just want to talk about real quick, because I know we're on radio and we won't have a lot of time.
You already spent a lot of it. Real quick.
To help limit the transfer. Number one, on DHgate, and I'm not promoting any website, but you can order a mask online. You just can't get it from Amazon. Everybody may not be able to afford a mask, but if you have a family, you should protect your family. You should go online and try to order a mask.
I think we should definitely try and get masks. They were saying yesterday on TV that masks we've been told masks weren't effective. They were like, in China, they always wear a mask because it is part of the process.
Yeah, but you know, there's different viruses that are around and different things that they're trying to, and they got a real ozone problem.
I think that when I see the Chinese people with the origin of the disease, I said this when I was in the airport and people called me crazy. I said, how come all the Chinese people are getting off the plane with a mask on and we all talking about you racist if you got it? I don't understand how anything that protects your opportunity to take in stuff, I don't see how it can't, how decreasing what you take into your body through your mouth, ears, and eyes, and nose could possibly be a bad thing.
I don't know why a surgical mask isn't a deterrent.
Okay. It's not a deterrent, or it's not 100% effective? Because I'm sure it's got to be a deterrent. Let's go. I mean, anything that blocks has got to stop something, right? No?
Well, I was listening to one of the past public health directors, and he was stating that if you don't get the right mask, it could be more harmful than helpful.
All right. Well, look, when we come back, we're going to talk about this whole thing. Well, actually, no. When we come back, we're going to talk to a special guest Former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich will join us. He wrote an op-ed. You all go check it out on his Facebook page. Check it out. Rod Blagojevich getting social. Also, don't forget, tomorrow we got a special stimulus show. We're going to go to the governor right now? All right, let's go to the governor right now. WVON listeners, this means we got some, Governor Rod Blagojevich, that means you got some juice, because we done cut the commercials for you. How you doing, Governor?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Man, I'm great. Well, you know, how's things since you've been home, man? It's like you get out of jail, and then all of a sudden they telling you can't go outside.
I'm in confinement again. But this is a kinder, gentler kind of confinement. It's a heck of a lot better than where I was those last nearly 8 years.
I can imagine, and being home with your family. Marcus told me that you get up, you stay up late because you're with Annie because she's a night owl. But Governor, you have been up writing and working, and I always thought, what would Rod do in a situation like this? And you penned an op-ed yesterday, plus it's on your new Facebook page. Governor, what are your thoughts on what Governor J.B. Pritzker should be doing right now for the citizens of Illinois?
Well, there's an emergency, both public health and economic, and this is where he needs to step up as a leader. And I would do 3 things right away, and I'll tell you why right away. Because tomorrow the rent is due. Okay, no one's fooling around. Tomorrow's not just April Fool's Day. Tomorrow the rent is due, and what Pritzker should do, a Democratic governor, ought to do what the Democratic governors in New York and California have been doing already for a long time. They ought to put in place a 90-day rent freeze to protect renters who can't work and therefore can't pay their rent. There should be a 90-day moratorium on evictions. You shouldn't evict anybody during this time. And there ought to be a 90-day mortgage waiver for homeowners and landlords. And he can do this through executive order. If he does simply the signing of his signature with the writing from his pen, he could do this. If he doesn't feel comfortable doing it himself, with the emergency powers the law gives him because of this emergency, he could call the legislature in. Now, we don't want to make them get sick and have them be together, so you can do what's called a virtual legislative session, a special session where the legislature gets together and they all kind of Skype in, or they can do a big conference call and pass a law immediately which would do these things: 90-day rent freeze, a 90-day moratorium on evictions, and a 90-day mortgage waiver. That's what I would do, and I would do it yesterday or last week. I wouldn't wait. I would have frankly done it a couple of weeks ago. And you know what else is going to happen is this stay-in-place order that Governor Pritzker has is going to get extended. It's highly unlikely he's not going to extend it. In all likelihood, it's going to be until the end of April. So how are people going to make their ends meet? How are they going to pay their rent? And it's not fair to people to make them have to choose between paying their rent or whether they could buy their groceries.
Wow, Governor, you know what? So first of all, I asked about this earlier, and my co-host said the governor really can't do that. I mean, how can a governor really sign an executive order telling me I can't get paid?
Well, he did an executive order shutting everything down, didn't he? He did an executive order shutting restaurants and bars down. He didn't need the legislature to do that. And frankly, it's an emergency, so he has powers to do this sort of thing. But as I said, if he's skittish about it, if he's afraid Madigan won't approve, then just do it, call a special session, and have them all use the modern technology. Now, Pritzker, to his credit, knows a lot about high tech. He was a big advocate for high tech when he was a private citizen. So why not take that knowledge and that skill and use it for the public good? Notice he's done a couple of things on the issues on the economic side of stuff, okay? He finally extended the filing of the state tax from April 15th to July 15th, but he did that as late as last week. And by the way, he did it because I was on another radio show and I encouraged people to call the governor's office. They got a whole bunch of phone calls, and he did it. So I would encourage your listeners to call Governor Pritzker, 312-814-2121. If you feel like you can't pay your rent tomorrow, call this governor and tell him to put on a rent freeze.
Uh-oh. Wait a minute. And I'm starting to feel goosebumps. I'm starting to feel like, Governor, you're starting to get back into the groove of things. When I read that post on Facebook yesterday, it made me think back to free senior rides. It made me think back to kids' care. It made me think of all the stories that resonated in our community that nobody ever told. And it always seemed like, people would say, oh, he's self-serving, he's just doing that. But it seemed like he had a real knack for understanding what people need. Governor, hold on, because we're going to talk to you some more when we come back after this, and we'll take a couple calls. Hey, y'all, it is former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich on the live line saying 90-day rent freeze, 90-day mortgage freeze. I like that idea. Maybe we need to call the governor's office, 312-814, what do you say, 2121?
2121.
You still remember the number because it used to be yours. It's the Talk of Chicago. We'll be right back.
More of the morning show with Maze Jackson.
Uh-oh. I like that idea, though.
No one ever said that Blagojevich was not clever and probably works for clever people. I would just say that some of his ideas, unfortunately, always came with no money relief, and that's where the pressure came.
I guess it's always funny because we got money to do whatever we want. Man, if y'all would have took them let me stop. It's funny because I do feel like my excuse for everything has been how we gonna pay for that? How we gonna pay for that? How we gonna pay for that? And we see that when they need to pay for it, they can pay for it.
Well, the feds can. Feds print money.
And I'm clever.
It's just like your regular household. You just don't do something else.
'Cause I'm clever.
Now, I don't doubt the governor's right about, there's under a crisis that you can make an executive order to do certain things. I'm just not sure if it's the right thing to do.
Man, you gotta pay. You got a mortgage to pay?
Yeah, but you gotta be careful when you you don't want to be overboard and be like, okay, now I'm king of the world.
I think that's what I was saying in the first place about people not doing that. But again, it's like you could be the king of the world when you shut everybody down, but when you do something it's funny to me because that's probably the most compassionate thing that I heard that probably would take the most burden off of everybody, right? Because that for all the solutions we've heard, if you told everybody that they didn't have to worry about paying rent or mortgage and the landlords didn't have to worry about losing, it's like,
man, does a governor have the ability to say to the Bank of America, you're not getting no money this month?
He did to all of us. He told that shit to every single one of us. You can't get no money this month. And if you do, you could be a criminal for it. And only thing I'm going to be a criminal for is trying to pay my mortgage, to pay my rent. So it's like, again, the governor can shut every damn person down, and he closed every restaurant and every bar. What fucking makes them different?
From my God. Sonia likes the idea.
What?
I said Sonia likes the idea.
I like the idea. Shit.
No, it's reflected in her music.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I found a way to stick together. Talking apart from my God. To my God. From my God. You're bound I'm gonna.
You are tuned in to the Talk of Chicago 1690 AM. I'm your host, Maze Jackson. Got my co-host, Todd Stroger. And on the live line, we have former Illinois Governor Rod Blagojevich. And he is back at it, Todd.
You know, that's Sonia telling you that she really likes your ideas. That's why she played my guy.
You know what, Governor? But I think one of the things that black folks in Cook County or in Illinois will say is that, and I've often said that, and I've actually polled this and said, if Governor Blagojevich were to run again, would you vote for him? And I did a poll on Facebook a while back when you first got out, and overwhelmingly black folks said they would vote for you again. And it seems like this is one more of those reasons why people seem to dial into you. It seemed like the political class never really felt you, and they said that most of the things you did were self-serving. But I feel like when I listen to you talk about this mortgage freeze and this 3-month rent freeze, it's like it seems like you get it. Like you understand the issues of real people, and as compared to thinking about the banks first, because how could a sitting governor, and we were just debating this on the break, how can a governor tell the banks that they can't collect their money?
You know, born into the right family that owns all those Hyatt hotels, and so, as I said before, he was born with a silver ladle in his mouth, right?
Ladle.
He don't know nothing. He don't know nothing about what it's like to make the rent payment every week, every month, and you know, he doesn't realize that for a lot of people, maybe most people, they live month to month just trying to make ends meet. This isn't a question of even dipping into your savings. This is a question of, hey man, you shut the economy down, and you should have, because we got a dangerous virus out there that's killing people. But I can't pay the rent now because no one's paying me. So where is this guy doing his job as the governor, looking out for the people? That's his first duty, is not only to protect the public safety, but his first duty is to look after the people. So what do we have here? The federal government now is doing a $2 trillion package that's going to help big businesses, financial institutions during this economic crisis. So they're going to give them the means that they need from the top of the economic ladder. And then whatever comes down is going to trickle down to everybody else. What I'm proposing is what you ought to do is start at the bottom of the economic ladder. So you take the pressure off of the everyday, ordinary person. You put a freeze on rent so they don't have to pay it because they can't work and make the payments anyway. Don't put them in a position where they got to choose between paying the rent or, you know, buying food. You put the moratorium on eviction so they don't have to feel like, holy cow, the sheriff's coming by, they might throw my ass out, right? And then you put a 90-day mortgage waiver for homeowners and landlords, because the landlord can't pay the mortgage because the renter isn't going to pay the rent, but that's fine because this is an emergency. So who is the one that bears the largest share of the responsibility, the largest share of shared sacrifice in this public health and economic crisis? It's the bankers. You see, under my plan, it's the financial institutions who are the ones who won't be getting paid for a while because the renters won't pay their rent, the mortgage landlords won't be able to pay their mortgages. So the banks, the financial institutions have to wait. They're the ones who have to wait for their money. But at the same time, they're getting a lot of help from the federal government, $2 trillion going in their direction. It just seems to be absolutely fair to help the ordinary person. And what's really disheartening is we got a governor in Illinois, not like the governor in New York, a Democrat, not like the governor in California, a Democrat. They're doing these things. This guy's not. And frankly, if he does it today, that'd be great. But he's too late already. But I'll take it. If he does it today, that would be great.
So, Governor, how can we, because can we get, I'm telling you right now, I bet you there's people amening in their cars, driving up and down. You might get Todd's deacon spot, by the way. But here's because Todd got demoted today from the deacon to the preachers. I mean, to the usher board. Now, the third string usher board. We might have to bring Governor Blagojevich into the church. Governor, what can people do to encourage Governor J.B. Pritzker? Now, I think we probably shouldn't say you said it, because if you say you said it, I'm telling you, then we won't need it. They'll be like, oh, we figured it all out. But Governor, where should we call to tell the governor that we want a 90-day mortgage and rent freeze?
You call the governor's office, and by the way, that's the right of every citizen to call their elected officials. In fact, they don't do enough of it, because there's a saying that goes like this: the squeaky wheel gets the grease. If enough of your listeners start calling the governor at 312-814-2121, if enough of them call, you might just see some relief. Because one thing politicians do, whether they're billionaires or not, is they hear the voice. When they do hear the voice of the people, too often they don't. But when they do, then their own self-interest kicks in and they finally do what the people want them to do, because otherwise they know they ain't going to stay long where they are. And by the way, speaking about not staying in the same spot as where he was, I want to commiserate with Todd. Sorry about your demotion, Todd. I know a lot about what it's like to lose a high position.
Thank you.
Well, Governor, let me tell you what, man. It is always a pleasure to have you come on. You know, and you got a great guy with you, Mark Vargas. Mark has been telling us, and yesterday I did it. You all take a moment, go like Governor Rod Blagojevich's Facebook page. You are back in social media. We got to figure out, Governor, once this thing is over, we got to get you in some more, and you can share some insights, because I really would love to talk a little bit more about kind of what goes into this. Obviously, you've never faced a pandemic, but what are all the tools and all the resources that a governor has at his disposal to deal with this situation? But, man, I want to tell you, enjoy your time, and, man, we got to get you back in here. Appreciate you.
I appreciate you, Mace. Thank you so much, Todd. It's good to hear from you. Let me say this. I love the WVON, always have, and I love your listeners. So be careful out there to all your listeners. And if you're looking to rent, call the governor, 814-2121, area code 312.
Hey, y'all, that is our former governor, Rod Blagojevich, who I'm telling y'all now, if he got on the ballot, I bet you if he ran in a black neighborhood, he'd take a ward right now. Hey, I'm telling you, Todd. I'm serious. But you know what? The governor touched on something that I thought was really good, and I want to talk about it maybe a little bit tomorrow. Don't forget, we got Andrea Zopp coming in and talk about the census. But one of the things I want to talk about, Todd, is the innovations that have come about for social media over the coronavirus. And can I tell you how awesome it is to see so many parties and DJs and people monetizing?
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
It's pretty cool. I'm not a DJ, right? And I want to make sure, I want to start putting some things in place, because one of the things that I know now is that black folks don't have to rely on traditional media to communicate. We can get 200,000 people, 1 million people together for a party in the park. But could we use that same platform to get together to teach our children, to create a platform, not only to teach our children, but to educate ourselves politically? Could we mobilize during this time? Could we mobilize and build a black voter block? We can always figure out a way to do a party, and I swear to God, I'm not knocking it. I love it. It is that our innovations in the entertainment, etc. But can I talk to every black elected official who has got a Facebook page or an email list, and all you do is send out a tweet or a Twitter? Right now, the world is changing around you. What role are you playing in it? And will you survive after this? Because I'm telling you now, the mayor doesn't need 257 and 9. 257 and 9 are now reporting off of her Facebook page. Control your own narrative. Hey, y'all, we got to get up out of here, though. So, for Jennifer Thompson in the newsroom, for Miss Sonia Escobar, the music conductor of the Soul Plane, for my co-host, Todd Stroger, I am the host of the WVON Morning Show, asking every day, hey, y'all didn't remember to tell me who you got, because we still got to do that. So go to my Facebook page. And if you don't like it, you can still tell them. May said, we out of here. Peace.
The talk of Chicago and the voice of the nation. 1690 WVON, Berwyn, Chicago.
I got to make a star my own show.
That's what I got another microphone. I'm like, I know how to get Hans involved and stuff. We'll do a podcast. He'll do it with me. That way, he's doing something positive and not playing these crazy games you kids have. You crazy kids!
All right, y'all. Take a moment. Shut the broadcast.
I'm gonna call them dueling Strogers. I have to say, that is so corny, Dad. I'm not being it.
Peace. Kang, what's up, dog?